Alright. We should be live on Twitch. Oh. Things are changing.
Oh.
What I'm about to tell you is top secret.
Let's see.
There's an advert for Amazon Prime currently.
But you don't have to worry. I'm the one in control.
There's an advert for Amazon Prime currently.
But you don't have to worry.
I got a friend in.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Silence on the Twitch.
I don't think we're live yet.
I think we are, or soon should be, because my Twitch is saying we are, and we're up.
My Twitch says no videos available.
Yeah, so does mine. This is really weird. I want to be able to.
And now it says live.
Does it?
I now see your PC.
Awesome. That's right, I'm going to start again.
Just as I figured it out.
Twitch.tv / Blunders Bothwellians. There we go. Well, my phone isn't doing it, but that doesn't mean that it's not. So I'm going to go with you saying it's live. And just hope that it is. And if anyone fancies sharing it to the Facebook group, go crazy. So, welcome back to the Tuesday episode of Blunders Bothwellians, the Wounded Witch edition. This crazy group of people are on a mission from the angels, sent to find dust trails leading them to several shards that have been scattered around the place, which will be used to recreate a weapon of some sort, which can smush the evil back away. Bad, evil, meh, don't like it. Currently, you are following a dust trail that Arissa can see with the special goggles that were given to you by the Archangel, and you have found your way through a woodland. And as you were travelling, you came across a little encampment that was completely walled off to the outside world. Varric went in exploring, managed to find some bear traps, but also, as he was scrabbling over the wall, managed to come across some very hangry werewolves, which tried to climb the wall after him. And on the outside, you have the Theritas standing below, warhammer ready, looking up as Varric comes scampering over the wall, and on top of the wall there now stand two very hangry-looking werewolves. So, hello. So, we have werewolves. There's two of them sitting sort of perched on the wall, growling down at you. So, the Theritas, Varric. Varric, you have shimmied down. You're now stood at the bottom of the wall looking up next to the Theritas. The Theritas, what do you want to do?
I think I'm going to go and try and get their attention away from Varric as he gets away. So I'm going to just start bashing my warhammer against my shield.
Okay.
And shouting at them.
Alright.
Fuck yes.
So you're going to start making loads of noise, okay. Like, over here, over here. Yes, Varric.
I want to use Mask of the Wild.
Okay, so you want to just disappear?
Yeah, I'll do that, like, trying to hide thing again.
Okay, is that a cantrip or do you have to roll for it?
It's basically a thing that makes it so that I get, I believe, advantage on hiding.
Okay, cool. So in which case, roll a stealth with advantage.
I'm fucking glad I got advantage on that one. Because one of them is a 1.
Wow. I mean, after a start, guys.
The other one is 16. So I rolled 23 on my stealth.
Okay, awesome. In which case, are you going to head back to where the group and the horses were, or are you going to head in a different direction?
Up the nearest tree.
Up the nearest tree. Okay, in which case, can you roll me an athletics for climbing?
Okay. That's 16.
Okay, cool. You can shimmy on up the tree, and are you going to spin around and try to fire at them, or are you going to just watch for now?
Yeah. I want to help 30 by, like, killing them.
Alright, sweet. Okay, the Theritas. You have been slamming your warhammer on your shield, making a lot of noise. The two wolf-like massive beings spitting and snarling on the top of the wall are now going to try and jump down on you.
Alrighty then. Let them come. I got a present for them.
They get a free meet and greet with your hammer.
Hello, I'd like to introduce you to my hammer. Boom! So, the first one has jumped off the wall and been knocked on its side. It hasn't landed properly. And the second one, he's landed okay and he's staggering, but you're going to get to go first, Theritas. Oh, does the warhammer have a name?
Woohoo. I'll think of one. Just not
All
yet.
right. So if you want to take an attack, you can do. One of them is lying on its side, struggling to get up, and the other one is sort of looking a bit dazed.
Right. Decisions.
Yes, please name your warhammer, Johnny.
Like that's legit.
I am... I'm going to go against the one that's prone at the moment.
Alrighty. So roll your attack, please.
Yeah.
Ow.
Is that an advantage because he's prone at the moment? Or
Yeah.
He's just laying out flat for you. You just smush it.
Werewolf.
you actually try to roll that on the table halfway across the room?
That counts as additional power, right?
Let's see. So 14 plus 4. That will be an 18.
18. Alright, cool.
Yep.
That will hit. So,
Sweet.
hello, dog.
One hit.
Okay, roll your damage for me. Sorry, we're just navigating the dog off the sofa. There we go. Right.
D8. That is not a D8. Where is he? It's easy. Wait. There we go. That will be... D8 plus strength. That will be 6 damage.
Ooh, alrighty, 6 damage. So, and that's to the prone one.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, cool. Okay.
And as my bonus action, I will drop Hunter's Mark on the one that's still standing.
You had 100
Sure.
mark on me, so you can recast it.
That's probably expired by now. We've been traveling, haven't we?
Yeah, but didn't you put one on me?
Oh, actually,
as
yeah.
soon as I
I put
left
it on you when I was
finding
when you
bear
went in.
traps?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
If
just
you,
transferring it. Yep.
do you want to transfer it? Okay, are you transferring it to the one you just hit, or the other one?
The other one.
Okay.
So the one that's still standing.
Okay, Hunter's Mark 30. Okay, cool. Alright. I'm going to say your bonus action is used as a bonus, so it'll be an extra after the fact.
Yep.
Though, I'll have a look, but for me personally, that's how I would say it.
Okay. we'll just follow that then.
So good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
in that case,
you are currently up a tree. Because of how the two wolves landed, I'm going to say, Batheritas, you went first, so Varric, you can now go.
okay, and I was not able to do a bonus action before a normal action, right?
No, I'm going to say do it afterwards.
Okay. In that case, I want to shoot an arrow at the one that is prone, because, well, that one is below max damage, max health.
Okay, cool.
So I'll shoot to try and hit. That's ooh, that's lovely. That's oh wait, it's plus 9.
I tell you what, everyone else roll me a perception check. Except Redo, who is currently examining her toenails.
Right. I'm rolling my new dice.
28
I rolled
hits. 28
28
hits.
to try and hit.
28 definitely hits.
Oh my god, Arissa actually heard something for once.
20.
Right? What the fuck?
Okay, so that hits. So I now. Plus. Just checking how much damage I get to do.
Okay.
Where's
Apricity, you are distracted teaching your boar tricks. Roll your animal handling. Orissa, you hear Verti creating a very deliberate distraction and banging his shield. And you also hear some snarling.
That does not sound good.
Now, it's up to you whether you want to go towards it or not, but you have heard it. That's all that's happened. You have heard it.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I look at the horses, and I look at Apricity, and I look at Redo, and I go, I'm not leaving these with them. I don't trust Redo, and Apricity is clearly distracted.
I'm just enjoying my new friend. Well,
So I shall stay.
Alright, stay there. So, are you going to move towards it, Orissa, did you say?
No, I said I'm going to stay with the horse.
Okay. $25 damage on the doggo. Okay. I gotta do some maths now. Okay, cool. Okay, Varric, you manage to shoot it, and you get it through the middle of the stomach and out of the back leg. So it's now hobbling around, and one of its legs is essentially useless and gone down. It is now the wolf's turn. Alright. Okay. Alright. The first wolf, who's on his feet, just sort of snarls and spits at you, Vatheritas. The second one is going to take a running dash at you, and he's got a 19. Is that going to hit?
Actually, yeah, that's gonna hit.
Okay.
Is this the one that's not hurt?
It's the one that you've just hurt, so he's sort of in a bit of a frenzy at the moment.
Alright.
Wait, how did he run with like 3 legs?
He's pissed off, man. You know when you're hangry? You know how much shit you can get done? So he
fair.
takes a spring back, sort of like a on his injured leg, but then sort of like runs towards you and is gonna like go to do like a lunge at you, Vatheritas. And he has done you 4 points of, I'm gonna say, bite damage. He's gonna try and bite you. It's gonna go for your throat but miss, so he's gonna catch you sort of on the arm. In fact, it's gonna be on your burnt and sort of kind of sore arm.
That's gonna hurt. I'm gonna like thrash that arm about and try and shake it off it.
Okay, roll me a strength check to like throw it off, and I will roll against you.
Yep. Oh, wonderful. That'll be a 10.
Oh,
What?
well, the wolf got a 5, so seeing that it's
okay.
like you're flailing it around, you manage to catch its injured leg on the floor as you're waving your arm about. You can't see me, but I'm doing it. I'm doing all the actions. It's great. And sort of with a whimper, it sort of lets go of your arm and sort of like rolls away. So and is now sort of like crouching on the floor. The other wolf is still snarling and spitting at you and sort of trying to decide when to make its move. So Vitheritas, you can go again now.
Awesome. I am going to actually now attack the one that's no, I'll go for the injured one. Try and
Aww,
put him down.
going for the weaker enemy.
Actually, no, change my mind. Go for the one that's up.
Alrighty.
He took pity on it.
Barry can finish off the other one. Oh, sweet. That is a 21.
Alright, that'll definitely hit. Apricity, what trick would you like to teach your boar? Because it's working.
I would like to teach it to leave me and go and hide on command. And then
That's
also
adorable.
come back on command as well. I don't know
Aww.
if there's a difference.
It's harder to teach it to come back, but teaching it to go away is very easy. But you managed to do both, being very tempting and coaxing.
I do have pie in my bag still, so...
That'll help. The pie helps. Mark off the pie, and you can use that, and that will have helped you. Yeah, it will now go and hide when instructed, and come back upon your call.
Or...
Did 4 damage.
4 damage to the other wolf. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, is that including your hunter's mark? Because you get a bonus for that, I think.
Oh, actually, no, that was not.
That's an additional D8.
The 8 is...
Yeah, it is. I just looked it up.
I got it down as 1d6.
It might be different for a paladin.
Yep.
Oh, it is?
Oh, you need that many. Yes, you do.
Oh, dear.
Well, okay. Add 1 to that.
Add 1. Aww.
Yep, so 5.
Okay. Well, hey, every little helps. It's fine. All right. Did you want to take your bonus action at all with Theritas?
Shit, I forgot to do that bonus action last round.
The DM will not always remind you.
No, that makes sense.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to prep a Thunderous Smite.
Okay, just prep it and have it there.
So I'll be casting it on my weapon. So effectively it lasts 60 seconds.
All right, cool. So you start to do that. So Varric in the tree, what would you like to do?
Well, since I forgot to cast my spell last round, I'll first shoot another arrow.
Alrighty, which one are you aiming at?
Does the one that I shot the previous arrow at seem close to dying yet?
Not ridiculously close. Closer than the other one.
Fair. I'll keep shooting at the one that's partially dying. Hopefully soon.
Alright, the one that just tried to essentially eat the Theritas. Okay, roll your attack.
That's 19.
Okay. Apricity, roll me another perception check. And a 19, that will hit, yes.
Awesome. That's a lot of damage.
I rolled a 5 for perception. I'm really not paying attention today, apparently.
2 7s is 15. Do I add my dex to my damage? Yeah, right?
Yes.
You
Dex,
might
but
do.
not your
It'll depend. Sometimes it says to add it to your attack. Sometimes it'll be added to your damage. That's the word I'm looking for.
I'll just take a quick look for a second to check this.
Spare bacon.
5 total for your. Sorry, I'm losing the plot of words here. Was it 5 for your perception, Apricity?
Yes, it was.
Okay, you noticed that Arissa seems to have heard something. That's about it.
I added to both. I'm so
Sweet.
happy. So that's 22 plus 5 is 27 damage.
Alright.
Oh my god, my teeth.
Okay. So, Varric, can you roll me a perception check, please?
Perception.
Perception, please, yes. Meanwhile, the Theratas, an arrow flies straight through the eyeball of the wolf that tried to bite you. And you hear a sort of and the wolf sort of like shudders for a bit and falls limp on the ground next to you.
Alright.
And the Theratas is just rolling his perception check. Which will...
Varric, you mean?
Varric.
I don't think I see anything.
Okay,
I
Varric,
might
you
be
don't
looking
notice.
when I leave now.
Okay, the Theratas, you're the only person who notices this. But as the wolf draws its like last gurgling breath, you notice something glowing on the skin of the wolf. And you see, if I can find the picture. Okay. It starts to glow red. Something under the skin, something beneath the matted fur. And you see glowing this, which I'm sending now. And it'll be on the chat. There you go.
Do I recognize it as anything?
Also, does your evil sense do anything about it?
Is your evil sense going all the time, or do you have to cast that?
No, I have to cast it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I get
something
3
about
uses a
it
day.
does not seem okay. And you can roll me a religion check.
Oh, yay, my favorite topic.
I'm just going to check because I don't.
Oh, holy shit!
What did you get? That one.
Nat 20.
Hey!
Yay!
The one lesson that he paid attention.
Okay.
It was about monsters. I was awake.
Now, I'm just double checking because I don't believe you've seen this before in game, have you?
No, don't believe so.
No, I'm just checking it's not in any of the previous. No, good, because I don't want to give you conflicting information. Haha!
I would have pinned it otherwise, I think.
Yes, I just checked the pins. Okay. This you remember from various conversations with elder, wiser, amazing people. This is the mark of something known as the Son of Shadow. I will also type that.
Ooh. I
Oh!
believe that's on a certain hit list.
I remember that.
Hey, you're not there.
But whatever.
This, but I'm getting excited and flicking through my notes right now.
Hey.
Radio.
So, you notice this. Something clicks in your brain. Yes, holy 5. Well done, person who is not there and has not seen this.
I am there.
You're there, you just
haven't
didn't
seen it.
notice. Okay, it is still glowing though. It hasn't disappeared. It appeared as the wolf died. Okay, you have got another one snarling and snapping at you though, and it is the wolf's go. Varric, we just had your go, didn't we? So it is now the wolf's turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my special flamey dice for this. It's not that I want to kill the Theratas or anything. It's just that, like, you know, dice.
He's actually inside for the.
Okay, so that's a 12. Does that hit you, the Theratas?
No.
No, I didn't think it would. Alright, so the other wolf is coming at you, brah! And it's sort of like... and it's gonna make a sort of dive at you, but you can sort of like... and it, like, conks off your shield.
That's what I have it for.
Exactly. Okay, and the wolf is sort of snarling and spitting and has, like, attempted to claw your feet, but... Hey,
Right, yo.
don't be doing that. But it's missed you entirely.
You know, slowly piecing together information makes that I think that makes sense there.
So, the wolf has had its go, so we're back up to you, Theratas.
Yep. I'm going to. Ooh, let's just double check. Over here. No, I won't waste that. I'm just going to take a swing at the werewolf. That would be a 13. Hang on. Yes, a 13.
A 13. In its current state, I'm going to say that you'll just hit.
Ooh, yes. Right, fishnet dice for this. I'll need that one. I shall need that one. And Thunderous Might goes off. Alrighty. So if Apricity totally misses this, she needs her hearing check.
Well,
So the first time I hit someone with a melee weapon, this spell makes my weapon ring like a thunderclap that can be heard up to 300 feet away.
Sorry, I just read what Apricity's doing.
And I get to do an additional 2d6 of damage on top of my hunter's mark. And I'm certain I've got 1d6 in that. There. Also, the werewolf will have to do a strength check if it survives.
Oh, okay.
Just casually, like, it might die just now.
Alright, roll me
It's
your
nice.
damage.
That's ridiculously low, and I'm going to send in some of these dice. That's 6, 9, 10 damage.
10 damage, alright. And it makes a strength check against what?
Ooh, I believe that would probably be against my spell.
Yeah? Yeah, your spell DC, I expect.
Yep.
Okay.
Just tell me I write that down.
It has rolled a 12.
Which
Including all of
is
its.
my... I think my spell attack is actually 14.
Ooh. Does it do extra damage if it fails the strength check?
No, it gets knocked prone and thrown 10 feet backwards.
Sweet! Alright. Actually, because you're so close to the wall, the wolf sort of goes and is knocked prone and sort of goes and slides back and slams bodily into the sort of like wooden wall structure that it came from. The wolves on the other side you can hear sort of going but they still can't jump up and get over. and the wolf is now prone, like, against this wall.
Oh,
Alrighty.
not quite as much damage as I hoped, but yeah, good enough.
And I'm going to say that everybody else has now heard this. So you've definitely heard this again. All of you guys, including Riju, but she'll just be standing there being too cool for school right now.
Wolf kebab.
A shish kebab. A shish wolf.
Yes.
There are no spikes per se. It's just a big, long, straight, like big trunks of trees wall kind of thing. You could fire an arrow at it though, because it is your go, Varric.
Did I cast the spell this time? I think I forgot again.
Which spell are you trying to cast?
I keep trying to cast that new elemental arrow spell because that thing is fucking cool, but...
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, if you want, do it at the beginning of this turn. And then you can use the arrows for this turn.
Thank you!
Okay, but you no longer have a hunter's mark if you had one at any point.
No. I'm a blow a spell slot on that. I'll... Well, in that case, do I roll a d6 to decide, or are you just going to mention what kind of element it is?
You can decide. That's cool. Player choice.
Oh, that's perfect. I'm gonna go for... Wait, choices are...
Yeah, just do a
fire,
refresher.
cold, acid, lightning, thunder, or fire. I want an acid arrow.
Alrighty.
So then I roll normally to hit. That's
Yeah, roll normally to
25?
hit. 25 definitely hits right now. It's prone and nearly knocked out.
then I roll my 3d8 plus 2d8 for the element. Watch me roll 5 dice and just roll like 6 points. Okay, no, this is actually decent. I mean, there's 2 8s and 2 9s.
Okay, Pricity has thrown the pie at the travelling zoo, which just misses Orissa, and hits the hoof of the Theratas's horse, whose name is Retribution. And
I'll remember that.
DM wrote notes, brah. DM wrote notes. And the horse now leans down Orissa and is starting to lick up the pie that's on its hoof. And Apricity is running at gnome speed, so round to try and help, and you'll be able to join in on the next round, okay? Meanwhile, Varric, what was your damage?
I was doing the math because there's a lot of dice here.
Okay.
But I rolled 30 damage.
Fucking.
Is that total?
And that's with 2 1s. Yes, that's total.
Okay, sweet.
I believe that 7 of it is acid damage, if that changes anything.
Okay, cool. So, are you going to aim anywhere in particular?
I kinda want to aim for like the nape of the neck so that I can like shoot it into the wall a bit.
Okay,
Like so
cool.
that it gets stuck.
Okay, so your acidic arrow, almost seeming like a yellowy green colour as it flies through the air, spitting rage, finds a home in the neck of the wolf. And it starts to sort of choke it as it pins it against the wall. It does embed, because it's only wood, it's like a tree trunk. And it's found its way out of the back of the fur. And it's now pinned there, snapping, snarling, and sort of pulling against it, feeling the pain, and there is sort of like a yellowy trickle coming through its skin as the acid sort of like seeps into its body, and sort of grunting and snarling and snapping towards you, Vitheritas. And the wolves go. He's just going to try and make a strength check, which he's going to fail to pull himself off the arrow. Meanwhile, Apricity, you now reach the scene. you see no sign of Varric at the moment, but you do see one of his arrows in a now dead wolf lying on the floor, glowing with a strange red emblem on its skin. And you also see another wolf pinned against the wooden wall, which is near death, with a angry tiefling Betheritas stood before it with shield and mighty hammer.
Awesome. I would like to shoot an arrow at the wolf, please.
Awesome sauce. Roll me to attack, please.
So it's been a while since I played. With my sneak attack, it says that I can, once per turn, do the extra 1d6 damage if I'm attacking with advantage.
I'm going to say you would be, because the wolf is like prone and looking at Betheritas at the moment.
Like pinned to a wall and stuff. Okay. So I can advantage to hit it and then add the d6 afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So with advantage is 17 to hit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Amazing. And then let me just double check how to roll. So short bow. Oh fuck, that was even more than 17 to hit. So 1d6 plus 2, so I'm going to roll 2d6s. 2. Amazing. 7. 9 damage.
Sweet. 9 damage. Alright. How did we decide we wanted to say this now? Something on the lines of, pow! How are you going to kill it?
Was it poof? Because of the...
Poop! How do you want to kill it?
I would like to, as I come flying around the corner on my tiny, tiny little legs, around the corner and release the arrow and shoot it right between its eyes.
Alrighty. I approve of this. Okay, so this little gnome comes shooting around the corner and then shoots an arrow which goes into the wolf, and with one last the wolf finds itself deaded. And both you and the Theritas will notice this because you're standing very close. Varric, can you roll me perception again, please? And what happens is that this wolf is going to glow with the red symbol again, and it's going to be this one for people on the chat. I've just loaded up to it. That same symbol that happened before. Varric, you notice that the wolf has a red glowing thing on it, but you can't really see what it looks like.
Awesome. Can I sort of carefully hop out of the tree?
Yes, you can do. And you can come down and have a look-ski. Apricity, I'm going to say it's very unlikely you will know what this is, but it gives you a very uneasy feeling. The symbol on this wolf. And hello to Nightshade024 in chat. Hello. How are you? Yes, we've noticed you. Sorry it took so long. We've been busy fighting werewolves.
No worries, I'll survive.
It's just you, Varric, isn't it? You are one fan.
I was like, we need a fan active.
That's true. Actually, I will share us on Twitter now. See, I keep forgetting. Now that we have a Twitter, I shall share us on it. Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, you guys notice that the emblems on these wolves, it's sort of like burned into their skin, now glowing red. They start to smoke a little bit. And the wolves on the other side of the wall have started to whine a little bit. And you guys hear a noise in the air just behind you. And it's like a ripping noise that goes... And you can feel sort of a cold chill coming towards you. And as you sort of turn, you can see a rip in the very fabric of air itself, and revealing behind it a darkness and two blazing red eyes stepping out of it. And It feels almost as if, like, the little place you're stood in has got darker. Almost like the sun is still in the sky, you can still see it, but it's just quite dark and dingy, and you feel very cold. And the wolves on the other side of the wall are sort of howling and still this red sort of smoke rises from the dead wolves, and the symbol on them is glowing. And out of the darkness steps a huge, shadowy, hulking figure. Can you guys all please roll me a charisma save?
Ah, shit.
I assume I
have
do that
to?
at disadvantage after the last one.
Uh,
Because Varric is still definitely not mentally stable enough to
Oh God, yes.
actually resist stuff.
definitely. Especially if
So it
it's
was
remotely
very-
similar.
Yeah, and this is like a big bad stepping out of like a big bad portal, so that's remotely similar.
Do I need to, since I'm not there?
Not if you're not there, no.
I'm still with the horses and apparently now a boar.
Yeah. A boar who every time you say, hide, will run and hide in bushes. And then every time you say, come, it will come back out and scurry towards you looking very happy with itself.
Aw. I may have been doing this to entertain myself for the last few minutes.
I'm gonna assume I failed with my nat 1.
Yes, okay. The Theritas, you find yourself in the presence of evil. Once again, you feel this, you know this is happening, you just sense it in your entire body. You are you're frozen to the spot. You can feel your muscles just stop moving, and it pisses you off. But you've still got everything in your head. Everything is working, you're focusing. Apricity, you find yourself frozen to the spot, and if you could move, you would shake a little. You're very aware that something is not right. This doesn't feel good. You want to be out. You want to be as far away from this as possible, but you just can't stop looking at this massive shadow walking towards you. Varric, you have just slid down the tree. You are the closest to this apparition that's appeared, and you see it step out of nothing. It's ripped a hole in the air itself and is now walking seemingly towards your two companions, and you also are rooted to the spot. Okay. He is stretching his hands towards the two wolves, and the red mist rising from them is rushing up to greet his hands. And as he twirls them, the mist forms slowly, painstakingly, almost into the shape of human males. And the dark, shadowy figure is gonna say stuff.
Dardos, Damigardos, Dar Samuel, and Danis. Your souls are now mine.
So I guess because I'm not there, my soul is not his.
I also presume because you're not a werewolf.
Ed.
I could be.
Those names.
That would be an epic plot twist.
Just for everyone who's note-taking.
Of course you chose those.
Are they from?
Sam and Dean, Supernatural.
Cool. Now that he's harvested the smoke, what's he doing?
Well, he's still standing there. The red smoke is very slowly and painfully pulling out of the two wolf bodies. And as it does so, the wolves are losing their fur. The big, horrible red glowing symbol is still emblazoned on their sides, but they become elongated and longer, and now you see them turning back into still dead human males. And their souls being stretched out of their bodies, finally with a sort of, as a poof of red mist, the entire human-shaped gaseous red form is now sucked into the hands of this giant shadowy figure. Varric is very glad that Vitheritas cannot start to fight. Okay. It smiles, and you see the big red eyes glow angrily, and looks down at his full red palms.
You refuse to follow. Now you will learn.
And with that, he steps backwards, and with a whoosh, the dark shadow is gone, the rip through the air has sealed itself, and the day is bright again. You now have 2 very dead human males, one impaled against the wall through the neck, one with an arrow through the eye, lying around beside you. Very corpsey looking.
I'm good. Oh, you refuse to follow, thank you. I'm going to take a couple of steps back and let my bow kind of drop to my side and just look at Vitheritas and Varric and be like, what did you do?
I'm just gonna walk back over to the bodies and see if I can see how these marks were put on the bodies.
Okay. Do me a, I suppose it'd be a, no, just do an investigation check for me. This would be something you probably know. Hello!
I don't totally fluff that.
That's okay so far. You've stood with the horses and Arissa and you haven't got into any trouble whatsoever. You've been fine.
Yay! Thank you.
In typical fashion.
Oh,
Okay, well,
I'm gonna have to
Vitheritas...
do something that involves my brains.
Okay, you're a bit shook up after all this, and you look at the bodies. The only thing you can think is... curse?
can I walk over to the bodies, because I can see that Verti's looking at them, but I'm going to loot them.
You can, except that they're fully naked.
Oh, dirty! I'm not going to touch that.
Perhaps there's a tooth or a bone that you can, like, steal
Yeah, you can
for your bone charm.
You can take teeth and bones, of course, if you like. They are fully human and naked, but yes.
I don't want to touch humans. They gross me out.
Excuse you.
Could I possibly look at the marks and see if I can ask? I'm not gonna obviously know much about the religion, but see if they've like been burnt on as a brand or similar.
Yeah, roll me an investigation check.
Oh, I'm intrigued about Arrow now. Total.
Okay, they don't bear any resemblance of something that has been burned on with any object. That, as far as you can tell, it would be something magical that's made it appear, probably painfully, on the skin. But it's not like a brand or something that's been carved in. It's just almost a part of the skin. Yep, hashtag
Okay.
Lucky 7. We need to get you baseball jackets. Lucky 7s. Very meta.
Cool. Does anybody recognize this weird symbol?
We were told about the one whose mark it is. That belongs to the Son of Shadow.
Is this one of the things that Angel talked about?
Yep. So whether it's either the cause or Well, quite frankly, it could quite possibly be what that thing was that stepped out.
So that was possibly the literal Son of Shadow.
Yep.
That wasn't. That was like a pretty ancient, really, really evil thing that was around before the angels, wasn't it?
To be fair, it also stepped through time. Or at least through space.
But ripped through the realities.
Whatever it was big, it was powerful, and it was incredibly evil.
Let's hope that before we meet it again, we've worked out how the fuck to deal with it, because that was pretty scary.
That would be not dying.
Yeah. With our friend Palter Lyman, did they ever give us a way to communicate with them?
I believe he said something that he'd know when he was needed.
Okay.
There was also mention that if you came across dust, which Arissa would remember, but she's not with you right now. If you come across dust, then the angels can speak to you at that point. You can sort of connect to them via the dust.
Okay. Well, so do you mean like, because obviously I wasn't there as Vicky, but Pristy was there.
Mm-hmm.
Arissa saw like one grain of dust, didn't she?
Yes.
So do you mean we can talk when we see like a little speck of dust, or when there's lots of dust around?
Well,
I guess we'll have to try.
You'll have to find out, won't you?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna see if I can actually hear or notice what the rest of the wolves are doing, because
Okay.
we obviously heard them on the other side.
You
In the
heard
meantime,
them.
I'm still sitting at the bottom of the tree.
You heard them sort of yipping and howling, and they almost fell silent as the rips noise came. And you can't actually hear any more noise anymore now.
Does anybody want to stick their head back over that wall and see what happened to them?
I'm gonna look across at Varric and ask if did you see anything of any value or any interest in there?
To be fair, Varric is not really in a state where talking is an option for him. I'm sorry.
So, Varric, are you still at the bottom of the tree crying?
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna approach Varric and put my little hand on his shoulder and offer him. I've got some mushrooms that I harvested back in the Walden dungeon, or back in their courtyard, and I'm gonna give him some mushrooms to nibble on.
Aww.
Aw.
Ease him up.
I smile slightly, and then I actually try to answer Verti's question. There were some bear traps, but I got them already, and there was some human meat on the fire. That smell was horrible. Or well, the smell was kind of good, like a good stew. Like the sight of it was horrible.
And this is how you learned he was a cannibal.
I guess then there's not exactly an awful lot that we'll to investigate in there.
I would suggest getting away from it, because there's more of them inside. Or, we could open the gate and kill them all. Like that better.
Do we really, really want to risk the chance that it's just going to thing again? Well, it kind of looks like whatever that thing was that appeared was summoned by us killing these people who appear to be cursed by it.
So you suggest not killing them all?
Well, I'm not exactly one to likes rewarding those that are evil. And it seems to want those souls.
Yeah, and I'm not up to walking into a nest of werewolves.
I reckon best leave them be, and
We could snipe them
I
from
guess-
a tree.
See, now that's...
really have that many arrows.
Talking about arrows, can I walk around and collect the last few arrows that I shot?
Stay the same.
Yes, you can, except the acid arrow. No, the acid arrow you can. Yes, it's now back as a normal arrow because it's just a spell, isn't it? That means it does acid damage, but doesn't turn to acid itself.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Okay,
Yeah,
in
it's
which
a spell
case,
that,
yes.
The spell is placed on the quiver, so the first 8 arrows that I shoot, as long as I maintain concentration, are have an acidic aspect to it, but they aren't acidic. So the arrows are still normal arrows as soon as they hit.
Yeah, that's okay then. All right, then yes, you may mark your arrows back on.
Yay! I also want to clean them, like on the grass or something.
So, we've stumbled across these werewolves. They're cursed because they're already werewolves, and then they're possibly cursed again because they're somehow linked to this Son of Shadow. What was it that brought us to this settlement? We were just following the dust and just came across it.
Pretty much, yeah.
I just point my thumb at Varric. He saw it.
Let's all blame the hangry elf.
Wait, what was the question?
How we found the settlement.
Yeah,
Oh,
what?
I was like enjoying being close to the forest, so I was like weaving in between the trees with my horse. What was the name of my horse, by the way?
The name
seem to
of
forgot.
your horse, Varric, is Matika.
Oh, yeah.
Matika.
Yay! Okay, so I was riding Matika and just like weaving in between the trees, and well, then I noticed a wall and I was like, "Hey, let's check that. That seems like it might have bear traps." and it did. So I now have 2 bear traps, and I might need to work on the 3rd one soon.
They're not called bear traps
Also,
anymore. They're
I-
called demon face masks.
They're now called face fists.
Amazing.
Also, I hand Verti his own bear trap back that I borrowed
Thank you.
because I now have like 2.5 basically.
I'm just going to reattach that to my pack.
I'm certainly hanging down my sides.
So at the moment we could go into this settlement, but it sounds like it's probably full of werewolves.
And it's all like old and there's human meat on a fire. It's generally not a fun place.
To
Well,
be honest,
I-
while we're standing next to it, do we really want to be discussing whether we want to be next to it?
Well, this is what I'm getting at, so do we move off somewhere else?
How about we go back to the horses? I miss Matika. And, you know, Matika has the food.
And also let's check on Redo and Arista and see that they're okay.
Yeah, good idea.
If any other werewolves have come out of this place.
Well, wouldn't we have, like, heard Ridu scream or something, or seen some, like, sparks or butterflies or something?
Why did I scream? Sorry.
No, we're actually saying that we didn't hear you scream.
So we're presuming everything's okay.
Oh, I see what you mean. How long have you guys been gone? Because I have a feeling I'm getting bored already.
Not long enough for you to be bored, I don't think. This didn't take
Oh.
too long.
I did spend quite a while looking around the village, like
Yes.
because I was being sneaky about it.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
I mean, I'm with the bard and the horses.
Yeah, I think you would have only just started to get a little bit sort of ugh as you see them all come trotting back into view.
Okay, thank you.
It's okay. Alrighty. So you guys come back, you see your horses and boar where you left them with the rest of your party members. Arissa's still wearing the beautiful goggles atop her head.
Hi, Arissa.
Hi.
I wave, like, slightly.
Oh, finally. Ooh, gold. So what have you guys been up to?
I got myself some new bear traps.
Cool.
As a translation, he picked up some bear traps, got chased down by some werewolves that we just put down.
And then saw
Oh,
So
scary.
now they're permanently sleeping.
missing out on all the fun.
Also missing out on probably one of the greatest evils I've sent so far.
Oh, tell me more.
It was certainly not friendly.
If I was to hazard a guess, it was one of the great evils that we're meant to be hunting.
The Holy Five.
Oh, okay.
And to
Did
be
you
fair,
manage to
it was-
loot
It was quite big and majestic, and like, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to beat that thing. It stepped through out of the sky. What the
Why
are we
didn't
going
you
to
just
do about
attack
I didn't know what?
Why don't you just attack the thing? We're supposed to defeat it, right?
Yeah, but it also like is really big and scary. I was up close, and you know, I'm better from a distance
You're
with
such a
things like
coward.
this. No, it's just that my bow works at a distance. Up close, I'm, you know, not that good of a fighter.
Up close, you're a coward, so yes.
Irrelevant
Right.
of it had some ability to paralyze everyone.
I guess.
Oh yeah,
could be a problem.
that too.
Right. So what's the plan now? Are we going to find it?
Well,
What?
it's
Freaks out. I mean, I freak.
I penguin that.
I bat at them like afraid of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll help as you touch them.
Thank you.
Considering there's probably quite a few more werewolves around, I think it's best that we clear out of this place.
But what would happen if the werewolves got out and, you know, the no-wings are still close with a lot of children?
Do we care?
To be honest,
Well, me
That-
personally, not so much, but
that group know how to protect themselves, so they should be okay.
yeah,
At
the
the very
werewolves
least-
still first have to find the chimney.
And at the very least, we can notify, like, the local authorities in the next town that we can, and tell them the location of this place. They can at least warn people away.
That's perfect. Now I don't feel so bad about us leaving now.
Can we go now?
Yeah, I'm gonna settle up on Matika.
Okay. As you guys head off back to the horses and reach there, you still notice there's an eerie no noise whatsoever coming from the little settlement that you leave behind. You jump back on your horses and your boar, and you set off in the direction you were still going. And Arissa, did you want to make me another perception check with your goggles?
Yeah.
Just stop this horse, don't want to lose it to werewolves. Okay, awesome. So, just going to add the map again. Oh god. Everyone who watches the stream will just have seen that, but never mind. Okay, uploading. So, you have got Meet for weeks. You don't know. There's no noise.
Crazy.
That's how it goes.
So, you guys... I'm now going to put up the proper map because that makes me happy. Actually, I did a PC Journeys. Wherever they go. No, that's too far down. I did this one. Here we are. The official map. Dun 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 dun. Okay, for everybody who watches this, well, there are millions of fans who watch this. You guys are in Baursin, the southern continent country. You have headed down the side of the Greenwoods and you're heading southwards. And with your perception check, with the goggles, Arasa, you see a few specks of the same gold glinting dust catching on the air. It's far, far above you. And it seems to again be coming from the south. And you keep...
Okay, we're heading in that direction.
Yeah. Alrighty, so you keep marching south towards where this dust is coming from. Every so often, Arista, are you going to wear the goggles continuously, or are you going to sort of put them on and take them off and put them on and take them off? They don't really change anything in the world. Like, everything's a bit brighter and more glinty. Just when you take them off, nothing really changes.
I'll switch between having them and off.
Okay. Well, as you're journeying throughout the afternoon, you see, again, occasional bits of dust, more of it coming from the south. It's still quite high above you, like being caught up on the winds and things and being swept away. It gets more and more frequent, and occasionally a bit seems to come from the east, but that's only like one or two. Most of it seems to be coming from further down in the south, the direction you guys are headed. Yay!
Yay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yay! So you guys have gone down. The dog's standing on me. You've gone down through the very, very western edge of the Greenwoods, and you head on down. As you get down towards the P in the word pastime, but you're on the other side of the woods. You're sort of nearing that purple road again, and you spot it. There's like the built-in path that's heading southwards. Now, if you want, you can join up with the path and follow it with like the road, or you can make your own way. Which would you rather?
Is the road actually purple?
No, it's not.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
The purple brick road.
No, this country is far too human for anything so frivolous.
Yes. Good. I like this country.
Well, irrelevant of whether it's purple bricks or not, I think we'll make better ground on the road itself.
Awesome. Okay. So, you guys, still heading south, go along the official roads. You only pass one group travelling on the road, and they seem to be farmers travelling with some of their wares back from some fields, heading towards, it looks, home for the day. They look a little bit shocked at the sort of mishmash group of you, and that was mean. And especially you, Vitharatas, the very large, angry-looking tiefling with a big hammer on a very large horse, which is probably bigger than the house these farmers live in. They sort of trundle past you on their little wagon and sort of like stare, and there's like a couple of younger kids with them, and they sort of look, and they sort of look as they sort of trundle past you guys. One of the kids waves at Arissa and instantly stops as it sees the angry tiefling giving a royal wave. Vitharatas, roll me a stealth check.
That would be Varric, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, Barrett, yes. Sorry, I was reading Vitharatas' comment whilst replying to you.
I was about to say. I don't think I could stealth to save my life right now.
No, I'm on a horse. The paladin rides past. Ladies, farmers, children, look at your cart. Now back to me. Now back to your cart. Now back to me. I'm on a horse.
I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse, bitch. I'm on a horse.
I'm on a boat from the Lonely Island, but with a horse.
You got it.
Yes, I did a thing. I saw them live once. That was fun. Also, 22 to stealth.
Okay, sure. As you ride past on your horse, you slatch your hand out, and you manage to snatch up 3 ears of corn.
Ooh. Wait. Ears, of course?
Yeah, so they've been taken from a field, so it's like big chunks of sweet corn that's been growing, so it's like the head of the sweet corn plant. So it's still wrapped in leaves. When you peel it off, you've got like big loads of corn underneath.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was just my native Dutch.
That's okay. You can eat it raw or you can cook it. And contrary to what Ice Age would have you believe, it does not turn into popcorn, sadly.
That's a shame. Because I was instantly thinking about making corn.
You dry it out, it turns into popcorn.
Okay, so
Cool.
you can eat this, you can stash it, do whatever you would like with it, and you guys continue riding.
Do I have saddlebags? Because then I want to use the saddlebags on the horse to store some food.
I'm gonna say sure. You can have 1 saddlebag on the horse that just sort of came with the horse. They were all so grateful to you. They probably gave you a fairly decent horse.
I'll store the entire bag. I'll fill it with food and then still have some left on person.
Okay, I was gonna say don't have food that's not on your person. That would be terrible.
Yeah, I'll definitely also have food on person. Definitely keep watch of the horses now.
As we're riding, can I... Just the image of this is ridiculous. But can I kind of ride close enough so that I can shout to everybody and they can hear me, including the dude on the fucking massive horse and the shiny horse? There's me trotting along on my little boar. I just wanted to ask questions about what's going on. So, he seems a bit bigger than my boar.
Yes, pretty much.
Ask the character first, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I listened to the episode that I was away for, Varric and Arissa went back to the No Wings when everybody else went to the pub to have a sleepy sleep.
Yes.
They talked to the No Wings, and the No Wings told them about the angels, how actually they're evil.
Yes.
And then, if I remember from the recording, Varric had said something about that in the morning, because Gus then said, no, I definitely know that they're good, because he did his sense good thing.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool, so I know that. Asking character. So the No Wings don't seem very keen on these angels. Am I right?
To be fair, the No Wings also were quite angry when I first met them.
You did pop down their chimney and steal all their food, but
I didn't steal all their food. Only 1 loaf of bread and their entire pan of soup. And I gave them food afterwards.
So the No Wings had kind of said about how the angels came down and started the war. That would
Yeah, something like that.
Do we know about how the
The hell is that noise?
Werewolves.
Oh shit. have the no wings formed in response to the angels? Because it just kind of dawned on me, like their name, no wing, like angel fighter.
It could possibly be, but
Is that your dog, Rosie?
Yeah, he just had a momentary, like, you know... He's cool
Okay.
now. He chill.
I thought it was the sound of werewolves chasing us.
Oh no, don't worry.
or-
I would tell you.
Or the guy that does the NPC voices.
So I'm like asking Arissa and Varric this because they were there.
Out of game me is not smart enough to most of it, but in game me probably does. So I'll just answer her questions.
So yeah, I didn't know if you got a sense from them that they were really dead against these angels, as in we might be losing our possible link no wings people if we've teamed up with these angels.
They did not like seeing the mark on our wrists.
Did they know anything about the shards?
To be fair, we didn't want to give them too much information, so I'm not sure if we mentioned that.
Fair enough, that was probably the best thing. Hey Arissa, next time... Oh, she's now going. I was going to say next time...
I'll wait.
I was just going to say next time you see some dust, you let us know to see if we can speak to the angels.
Sure.
I want to try out if we can speak to them when there's just a couple of specks or
That's
anything,
Garrett's.
if there needs to be low.
Okay. Well, I will be right back now.
So, you guys continue trotting along and having a chat. Did you want to stop and do lunch or anything, or did you want to sort of eat as you travel?
Well, I probably mastered the art of eating wherever I am, so I might be able to eat on the horse.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of you, do you want to have a pause, or do you want to carry on going?
I've got dry rations and stuff in my bag so I could eat on back.
I'll glance back and just shout out, does anyone want to actually pause for a break, or are we good to keep riding on?
I love so much fun. Really, what was your horse called? Oh, horse.
Yeah, she called her horse horse.
Yeah, Radio's horse is called Horse, but it's been nicknamed by Arissa Mauve.
Yes, I remember. Amazing.
So you've got Apricity's
Yeah, we like-
boar named Biraz, Vitheritas' Shire horse named Retribution, Redo's black horse called Horse or Mauve, Varric's brown horse called Matica, and Arissa's white prancy pony called Razzle Dazzle, which also has a braided mane.
Oh.
So I'm going to say you guys are going to share some rations between you and eat as you travel then, yes?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. As you guys are trotting along, and it's now getting into the sort of mid part of the afternoon, sort of around 3 o'clock-ish. As you're riding along, Apricity, you hear a sudden, like, popping noise, like a... And it startles you for a second, and you're not riding very fast. You guys are sort of riding quite slowly at this point, just following the path. And sort of hovering in the air, matching your speed, you see a sort of young-looking elf hovering along, sort of arms folded, next to you in the air. And this young elf says, "Apricity?"
Yeah, hi.
It reaches into its cloak and pulls out a rolled-up scroll, hands it to you, and says, "For you," and vanishes.
Thanks.
And if you have it on you, you can now read the letter I sent you ages ago.
You know I have it on me.
Yay!
Like nearly every time she sent it to me. That sounds terrible out of context. Don't write that in the.
It's not getting in my notes yet, don't worry. Betheritas is frowning at the air.
Or at the air where this elf just vanished into.
Yes.
He remembers his letter. Eustace pleased.
Oh yeah.
And it's from the DM, so it's only ever going to be bad news, obviously. You don't have to read it aloud. By all means, do. Obviously, it's only addressed to you, but you can if you want.
Okay. I'm gonna take a tentative sniff at the scroll, and then unravel it.
Okay, it's fully sealed. It's just a blob of wax. It hasn't got like a royal seal or anything particular. It's just a blob of wax.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I've quickly scanned down the letter to see who it's from. And I'm gonna like suddenly pull Baursin so he stops, and I'm just
Okay, can everyone apart from Betheritas make an animal handling check, please?
Oh, what, including me?
No, you've just pulled him to a stop, that's fine. I will roll for Arissa. Okay, Arissa's fine. Okay. Okay. Varric, you saw this elf appear, hand her something and disappear, and slowed down instinctively thinking something was up, and so you just managed to trot alongside her and stop when she does. Redo, you have to, in exasperation, pull your horse suddenly, and it does stop, but you don't fall off or anything, and Arissa is now trotting round you in a circle, prancing, sort of going, "Oh, where is it? And Betheritas, you have stopped ahead of them, having turned back and seen this, and you've seen that she's now stopped on her boar. And you can now see Arissa trotting round and round them in a circle on her white prancy pony.
Guys, Reese has written to me.
Hmm?
Reese has written to me.
Oh,
What's it about?
what?
I'm gonna dismount, lead my horse up, and stand near.
It says, "My friend Apricity, I hope this letter finds you well and happy. Vincent says he is sorry we had to go away so quickly. He says there wasn't enough time for goodbye. But my arm isn't hurting now, and Vincent says soon we are going on a trip somewhere high to get me a new mechanical arm. We are in a top secret place now. I can't tell you much, but I have met members of the Ring. I am missing home and you, and I want to say thank you for saving me. You are a true friend, Reese. P.S. Say hello to Armin." And Warmin's gonna fly down onto my shoulder as I burst into sobs.
Oh yes, Arissa, an elf appeared floating in the air, handed Apricity a letter, and vanished. Everyone rolled animal handling. I did it for you, and you were superb. And everyone sort of pulled up as she stopped the boar, and you are now prancing around them in a big circle, going, "Oh, what's happening? And she's just read her letter. And the tiefling is leaning down off his gigantic shire horse, and is sort of leaning almost at a 90-degree angle to like pat the gnome on the head awkwardly.
I love it. I'm just sobbing inconsolably into my letter.
I'm a hand Apricity some food to try and return the favor. When
Oh, Harry. take it and just kind of squidge it in my hand because there's no way I can eat it right now.
Varric, you have to stifle your disappointment and angst looking at someone destroy food, but you understand. She's sad. It's okay. You'll get over it.
Warmin will like peck at it from my hand, so she's happy.
Yeah, Warman's going to enjoy it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so pleased to have found out.
So epic.
Yeah, that's so cute.
With my spare hand, I'm gonna roll up the letter and shove it in my belt loop, and then I'm gonna pull out from inside my cape his teddy bear.
Oh god.
I'm kind of like, oh, but that's so good. He's getting a new arm. Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun.
Oh yes, about the new arm and somewhere up high. Would Varric have made like the connection with what the angels mentioned about the airship city?
Possibly. You can roll an intelligence roll. Yeah, just roll a straight like intelligence and have a think.
I'm not
about
even
it.
going to try and make that connection.
14. You think where would be high? Where would you? And you think, oh, maybe. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say you've made the connection. It's not a definite in your brain, but you're like, maybe.
If he's going up high and we're going to a place called the Airship City, we might be able to see him again soon.
Does anybody know where this airship city is? Because I want to go ASAP, please.
I don't think we know where it is. That's like the tiny issue that we have now.
No, so far no one has a clue. It's very secretive.
So we're following specks of dust that are like blowing in the wind to try and find a place which might be the airship city, but we have no clue.
Basically, you're following dust to find shards, and that was one of the places the angels mentioned it would be. Redo, roll me a... actually, because you're reading about it. Roll me a history check.
Was this one where she got a +1 because of that session she spent reading?
Yep.
Sure, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, it's almost a bit like hearing of Atlantis. It's like this place that you've never met anyone who has said they've been there. It's always been a friend of a friend or a cousin or a guy I met in a tavern who said this. And you have heard that it's a place where people and inventions happen and a place of great learning and strange things, but you have no idea where it could be. You've heard about it mostly in human books and books from Baursin. That's the only clue you could get for. Yeah, the drunk guy at the bar said, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I tell them what I know about it. The rest of
Cool.
I do think we might have some use for one of those airships if we ever get a chance to, like, go there.
we just want to fly them.
Well, how cool would it be to have our own airship to commandeer?
That would be pretty cool.
We disguided.
Better than this horse here.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun! I am totally game for that.
Well, and you all know Abristi's now going to be obsessed with this place if Reese is possibly there, so...
The tiefling face bombs.
Cool. I'm going to kind of wipe the tears from my face and look down at the...
Alright, anyway, carrying on.
Have we had our adventure yet?
No, I don't think we've hit a port yet, so no.
Not yet. Soon enough you guys will have, yes. Soon enough.
And the therapist will never sleep again.
Well, maybe this. Why did we go there? Oh, we'll talk about that another day. I was gonna say maybe this is why we went there, because I kept obsessing about going up high.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Little hook.
It's all in the letters.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, Rosie, I was shaking as I read that, and I did actually well up a little bit. Amazing.
Excellent, excellent. You know, I spent like an hour studying how to write like a child, just saying. Effort goes into these things. Lots of effort.
Well, it's gone into its own special bit in my D&D folder, so...
Excellent, excellent. Whenever you're feeling happy, you can look at it and your day shall be ruined.
I love it.
The tears of my players fuel me on! Ha ha ha!
I'll have to bottle them and send them to you to keep you going.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so you guys are gonna start trotting on again? With a
Yeah, I'm
very,
gonna slow...
very dejected gnome.
But, like, happy sad. It's okay. He's alive.
Yay! Or he was when he sent you the letter.
Oh, fuck
Don't
off.
say that.
I'm just covering
No,
all my
no.
bases, man. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull myself together and kind of suggest that we carry on riding. Apologising to the group.
Alrighty,
I'm just
so
gonna glance around and try and guesstimate how long it will probably take us to get to the nearest town, which I'm presuming would probably be Grandside based on our course.
yes. From your vague knowledge of Baursin, just gonna go up and find it. There's no point me finding it. I can't pin it, but I put it up for the chat window. If you could pin the close-up of Baursin, that'd be sweet.
I did.
You did.
Yeah,
Sweet.
everyone can pin now.
Everyone can pin now. Awesome sauce. In which case... There it is. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to have that up so I can look at it on chat. There we go. So, you guys are on the Pebbly Path, and I will actually say that you guys take a rest for an evening, and Apricity, Arissa, the Theritas, was it just the three of you who went off and did your crazy ship thing? Or did Varric go with you?
It was just the three
Just
of
the
us.
three of you. Okay.
I listened in to 10 minutes of it.
Okay. I'm going to say Apricity got very upset. The Theritas, you saw a very tiny sort of like port just off to the coast, and so you three went off to try and calm Apricity down a little bit, and at that point you guys went off and had your side quest adventure. So for the purposes of now, you guys have seen your ex-commander-in-chief, the Theritas, well, what's left of him.
Yep.
You've seen the ship, you have seen... Can anyone remember what the lady...
I've got it in my note.
Say that again.
His name was Wyatt something. Wyatt Fair.
Yep, you saw...
Is it the wired guy? Is it the wired guy from like the?
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
gets around.
Yeah, he does. You saw the Wyatt Ferris guy, and can you remember what the lady who was enchanting the body of your ex-commander,
Yeah.
the Theritas, can you remember what she said and who she was?
Oh,
I
Yes.
know who she called upon. I can't remember her name.
one of the bad things. She was. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
So she called upon
Dalyaga.
Dalyaga? Yeah.
My goddess, my queen, assist me in my hour of need.
Yep.
disappeared with Leoric in half, and Daljager is one of the evil things from the evil doodahs.
Yep.
Excellent.
However, I don't actually have her name specifically.
Yeah. Daughter Daljager gave birth to a super good and then became bad.
Yeah, because that was when my computer decided to blow up.
Well, I don't think you found out what her name was, actually.
Oh.
Oh, actually, we probably didn't ask. Frankly, I think we're too busy.
And I
trying to,
don't think
the living hell out of
she,
us.
I don't think she even told you.
Arissa Lori, Dark Mage, and talk to her. Or Lauri is what I've got. Lowry? Lori?
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm going to blame it on Vitheritus raging like there's no.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just wanted to see how much you guys would remember without me, rehashing. But yeah, so all of that you now know and remember and has happened.
So the other guys have stayed behind and gotten drunk, maybe.
Yes.
And talked to and then we returned back with Vitheritas looking fucking raw and fuming.
And in the meantime, you two, yes, you guys can have a conversation. I'm not going to say keep it brief, because that's mean. But yeah, you guys can have a quick conversation while they're away. Essentially, they're away they go away in the evening and they're back late the next morning. Very late, like lunchtime kind of thing.
With a very pissed off tiefling.
Yes.
Okay, so I assume we then, made a fire, got some drinks going, and got drunk and started talking about Risha. Right? Just to set up the thing a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss home at all.
Where on Risha did you live?
Near the forest of Ibar. I mean, it was a nice place.
The forest sure was a nice place. I mean, I've lived
Wait.
in the forest my entire life.
Wait, what? You know the forest?
Like the back of my hand. The forest was my home.
You couldn't have survived in the forest. No one survives in the forest. I barely did.
You barely did? You mean... What? Where... What happened in the forest with you?
I don't really like this. But it's the whole reason why I'm even here, really. I'm looking for this man that I met in the forest, so I entered the forest on a day. It was a stupid thing to do, really. And I don't remember much. Just remember some chanting, blue, purple light, and this male voice being very loud around me. And then I pass out, and I woke up at the edge of the forest. I have no idea how I got there or what happened. I woke up with spells. And I'm trying to figure out what happened to me. I'm trying to remember and find the kind of magic that was used. It was very, very different magic to what I've seen so far. It was terrible. And amazing. Terrible.
A guy, you said? A male voice?
Yes.
One. I don't remember much. I saw a guy.
I don't remember much.
Well, I've seen a guy who was playing with some magic in the forest.
You've seen a guy in that forest. Why didn't you tell me?
Because I just heard that you were the lady that I saw there.
Wait, you've seen me in the forest?
I think so.
Can you tell me? I lean over you and grab you by your purple scarf. Can you tell me what happened to me, please tell me what happened to me. I don't remember.
I only saw some magic, a big explosion after a rip in the air, and then I saw you, and you had this big spell book next to you, and I haven't seen the man, but I saw you, and that's about all that I remember, actually.
Oh.
I'm-
So
I'm sorry.
Where did you see me?
I saw you in the forest. I brought you to the edge. I saw this big. I didn't see much, but then I saw
So it
you
was
lying
you.
there, blasted far away.
You're the one who actually saved me.
I'm not sure if I saved you. All I did was bring you to the edge of the forest.
You did. I would have been lost in that forest if I had just woken up in the middle of the forest. I wouldn't have been able to find my way back. So you actually saved my life.
You're welcome. I guess.
Thank you. And I'm sorry. I know I haven't been.
Don't worry about it. You couldn't have known, and well, I didn't know either.
But now I owe you a life. I now swear to protect you with my.
I promise the same to you. I mean, we're in this together now.
But you can't. No. This is not how it works. I already owe you too much. You can't protect me. You need to just take care of Arissa. I don't really know what's that part. But anyway, if Arissa is if you're her protector, and I swear my loyalty to you, then I guess I would also. This is not how I was hoping this.
Yeah, me neither. I think we should eat some more and try to lighten the mood again.
Okay, I agree. Let's eat and enough talk.
Ooh, I pull out 2 ears of corn.
Aww.
And you roast them on the fire to make corn on the cob.
Yeah, and I hand one to her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I guess we should try and help each other. Actually, survive all this crazy stuff that's going on.
That sounds like a good idea. But could you do me a favor? Do you think you could maybe not wear your scarf so often?
The scarf is very important to me.
Oh, do you want to tell me about that?
It's the woman who made sure that I survived the forest. I got it from her after she died.
Oh, so that's why you're still sane. I mean, as sane as.
Yeah, she made sure that I survived. After I got that, well, I left the forest as well. It's the last thing that connects me to home, to the forest.
So sentimental, but fine. I guess I will stop complaining about you.
I can try and keep it out of your sight for as much as possible.
Thank you. I appreciate. Sorry.
You need that on a t-shirt.
So now I need 2 t-shirts.
Okay. Yeah. Ridu will stop complaining about the scarf now, I suppose. So shall we drink some more?
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm going to put that
to
in my
survival.
notes. Redo and Varric make bond, and Redo stops complaining. In brackets for now.
Yes, thanks. Giving me an out.
Oh, I should actually note that, like, as well.
I think we're done.
That's enough smushiness for one night. Okay, so
Yeah.
you two chat on a little bit. You take turns keeping watch. The horses are fed, the boar is fed, they're left with you. You're sort of on the coast, you can see out to sea. Eventually you see the airship come back, and you see your companions returning around the next day, sort of lunchtime-ish. The tiefling looking particularly cross, the other two looking a little haggard, a little bit windswept and interesting, and you can smell seawater, like salt water, on all of them. And the tiefling looks particularly annoyed.
So we actually have an airship now.
No.
Nope.
Oh.
We borrowed it off of a dude who was really nice.
Oh, what happened to you guys?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. It was so much fun.
Gnome, would you care to actually tell me what happened? Because I do not.
Okay, so Arissa gets her lute out and sings the song.
I hope you realise that I'm now going to expect you to sing the story of what just happened.
Which I barely even remember what happened.
You
Well,
can sing that.
I have no idea what actually happened.
Bitch, I barely remember what happened. I'll tell you what I know.
Amazing.
There was a ship and I got to drive it in the sea made of clouds.
Pretty good.
Then I nearly crashed it, not really quite sure how. And then we went on another ship, fought some evil zombie.
I like it. I approve. Well done. I'm going to give you an extra 50 XP for that at the end. Don't let me forget.
Thank you!
That's fucking amazing.
That's okay. You deserve it for the effort.
Thank you.
Quick
I like how
que-
for the effort, not the quality.
I never said the quality was bad. It's the effort I approve of, though. I don't care what your quality is like as long as the effort is put in.
quick question, because, well, Varric doesn't do alcohol that often. How big of a hangover do I have?
Roll.
Roll me your constitution, please.
Just a normal constitution?
Like a constitution save.
Oh, well, as a save. In that case... Yeah, that doesn't actually change anything except for... Well... Yeah. It being 12.
Okay. You are a little bit unsteady on your legs, but you're not too bad. Like, as you continue on through the day, you're fine. And you don't need to take any, like, disadvantage on anything. Like, you're okay. And Redo, you're too stubborn to be drunk or hungover.
Thanks. Because I fucked up my roll anyway.
Arissa's song was lovely. What she forgot to mention was a boat full of fucking zombies.
She mentioned that you guys were fighting zombies.
Okay. I don't think she encapsulated the terror of it quite so.
Is that why Verdi looks so pissed off?
Verti might need a while. He witnessed the reanimated corpse of the guy that trained him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, is the tiefling even talking at this point, or is he going to be sort of...
No.
No, I didn't
He's
think
literally
so.
just mounted up, sitting there, and he's got that letter just out in front of him. He's just
Bitch, he angry.
staring at it. Yeah.
He's not amused.
Is he turning big and green? Well, bigger and green. And are his pants now somehow purple?
If anything, he's like darker and his eyes are angrier and just seething.
I like that.
Dang.
Yeah, to redo, he has never been more appealing to you ever. But Theratas is going to take a shot, and I'm going to say that your anger is going to outride your Constitution mod, and it's just going to emblazon you with like heat. Alright, so is everyone going to mount up and continue on southwards with the angry tiefling, who I don't expect anyone would want to argue with right now?
Yeah, let him ride. I'm gonna ride very quietly behind him.
Yeah, and they, the two
But also
girls,
near lunch.
will recount the story to the rest of you as well, by the way, just as you're riding on behind him, very quietly. It's not that you think he would mind you telling the story, it's just that you don't want to, like, remind him of your existence for a while.
So out of character,
Mhm.
Timo and Sabine listened to that episode. Do you know what happened?
I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't had the chance.
Do we still have it?
Oh yeah, was that one of the ones that was
I
lost?
think we lost it.
I think we may have
Fuck.
lost that one.
Yep.
Essentially, what Arissa said is correct. They went on a ship because the Theratas had found word that a member of the order he used to be a part of was spotted with an evil person, and you guys went looking for it. You ended up on an airship. You hunted down this ship, landed on it. It was full of like undead zombie people. And you found this lady who, whose name was Lowry, who was sort of like a puppeteer, like using the bodies of these presumably dead, long since dead, people, one of whom was the Theratas's, I'm going to say beloved and leave it there. Not beloved as in like, as in beloved as in like he was a really important dude.
Also
and-
adopted dad.
Adoptive father, yeah. Who appears to be dead and having his body used as a sort of puppet by this lady, who worships a lady called Dalyaga, and she called upon her for support, and she managed to vanish along with the body of his ex-father figure, and left them on a sinking boat, which they only just escaped, and managed to make their way back to land. Is the very, very nuts and bolts of it. Arissa also had a go at steering. They met an awesome captain. They met Wyatt Ferris. He's going to come into play again. I'm going to use the hashtag play for Wyatt. I don't feel like it's fair to use it today because technically he's not in the game and I don't want to lead anyone under false pretenses, but yes.
Okay.
And one of them had a mechanical arm. Was it what? The mechanical arm?
Wyatt did.
He had a mechanical, like, elbow and... like the lower part of his arm, and he had like a big mechanical elbow.
Quick question then, which, you know, it couldn't have happened because, well, this letter didn't happen when you played that session. But did Apricity ask any questions about mechanical arm?
I'm gonna say yes, although in the big madness of it, you didn't notice the arm properly and really register it until the way back. And he will have said he can't tell you the location of the airship city because, like, he's sworn not to. But if you ask the right people or potentially find him again, you should be able to find it. And he also mentioned that having an airship would definitely come in handy.
Cool.
Cool.
Gonna give you a moment for some frantic note-taking there.
Can you hear the scribbling?
To be fair, I think I might have a guess, like 2 possible guesses where the airship city could be.
Okay. Would you like to tell me your guesses and I will not tell you the answer, but I'd love to hear them.
Up.
Well, it's either the World's Edge or Emily.
Emily?
Emily or where?
It's either World's Edge or Emily, I think.
Well, World's Edge was mentioned as separate. Do you remember the shards? It gave us the 6 different shards. One was in Baursin, one was in Risha, then one was in the airship city, then another one was at World's Edge, and then the 5th and the 6th were on a different plane of existence.
Yeah, but the fact that World's Edge and the airships are separate does not necessarily have to mean that there isn't one, that the airship city isn't in World's Edge.
That's true.
Although, out of game, the lack of Emily being mentioned might mean that airship city is in Emily, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just where my out-of-game brain is going.
I encourage out-of-game thinking. You may be wrong entirely, but I still encourage it. Alright.
Yeah, and even if I'm right, it doesn't affect in-game thinking anyway.
That's true. Arissa, could you roll me a perception check with your goggles, please?
Perception. Okay. 17.
Okay, cool. You start to see almost flurries of this golden dust, as if it was snow. And the dust is getting heavier and thicker, and Bertie's making the ground tremble every little while. Are you going to actually say it to him?
Yeah, basically every now and again, it won't actually affect anyone, but the ground's just going to be trembling around me.
Alright. So, as you guys head on, you realise that this dust is coming from somewhere within the city of Crownside. It's the only place left for you to go. You've seen it on signs, and the road is leading you right to it, and within a few hours you can see the city in the distance down the road.
Okay. So I just kind of say to everyone, yeah, it seems like the dust is coming from Crownside. Which is good, because where else?
Alright, so are you guys going to press
If no
on?
one's going to complain. If no one's complaining, let's go investigate.
Alrighty, so it takes you another sort of half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and it's sort of early evening-ish, but still fairly light, and you see the lights in the city, and you rock up, and there are big gates, big wooden gates at the edge of the city as you keep getting closer, and you can see 2 guard towers either side as well as you get closer.
I wave at them.
Okay, at the moment you're waving at empty guard towers. You cannot see anyone up there at the moment.
Yeah, but I can't see that they're not up there.
That's also true. So you may carry on waving to your heart's content.
I'm just going to ride straight up towards the gates.
Alright. The gates are currently sort of ajar. And as you ride up as well, you cannot see anyone in there. Doesn't seem to be anyone on guard duty. You would expect there would be as well. This confuses you. This is a human city in a very highly populated... This is one of the triangle cities, one of the 3 most powerful cities in the country, second only to the capital, Lely, and it's concerning to you. This is not what you would have expected.
I'm going to look around and see if there's any signs of anything completely out of the ordinary other than just the fact that there's no one apparently around.
Well, as you ride up to the gates, you can hear a lot of noise coming from inside the city. I'm tagged. I just got the Facebook notification. So yeah, you guys, I won't make you roll perception because this is quite noisy. You guys can hear the sounds of an angry crowd of people. It sounds like there's a lot of people On the other side of the walls. What is Amos doing?
He's just kind of erupted out of the duvet, knocking my dice over. Thank you.
What did he roll?
Well, he didn't knock them over that badly, so. But I seem to have a natural one.
bedtime when they're most at risk.
The panther.
Sorry.
That's in the panther of...
Sorry, advert.
Yes, I had used the panther at bedtime.
So I don't know if you guys can hear this.
But yes, Amos seemed to roll a natural one, so...
Amos rolled a 1.
Not sure what he was rolling, but he was shit at it, so...
Oh, no. Okay.
It was making casual conversation.
Okay. You guys can hear a big, angry mob. You can hear people shouting. You can hear insults, and you can hear things like traitor. You can hear words like pay, like we're going to die, all your fault, various different variations on that. You are just inside, just approaching the city of Crownside. You're just outside the gates. There's no one on guard duty, and the gates are half open, which is surprising to you because this is the second most influential city in Baursin, and there being no guards and there being the doors just open for anyone to come in is not usual.
This seems like fun.
I like her.
Draw my weapon and keep it down at my side, and then just ride on in.
Okay.
But I'm
I will
not just
not
blundering in.
fire.
I'm taking it slow.
I'm
Alrighty.
going to plunder him.
Woohoo!
Hello!
Hello, good day! Tally there! Whoop-dee! Okay, so in what order are you going to go in then?
Wait, what's
I think
happening?
Bertie was first at the gate, so...
Okay.
We're at the gates of...
You're at the gates of Crownside, and there's a lot of angry noise going on inside, and no guards at the gate.
Okay. And I assume that like the dust is nearby then?
There's a lot of dust leading inside the city.
Okay. And we're now entering the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
can you tell me your order? Vatheratas is going first. Who wants to go next?
Me!
me. Oh,
I'll go in front of both Varric and Arissa. I was just like sneaking.
Okay, Bertie, Arissa. Are you going on your horses or off?
I'm staying on the horse.
Okay.
me
Well,
too
of course
then.
I'm going to stay on my horse. That is such a good entrance.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I do the thing that I did.
Arissa is here.
I do the thing that I did. I'm gonna do the thing that I did when, like, we were before we found the werewolf city.
Okay. What, climb a tree? Oh, no.
Stand on the horse.
So far I've got Verti, Arissa, Riju, Varric. So that means Apricity, you're coming last?
Yeah, I would like to get the boar to wait outside the gates, and I'd like to try and sneak in and be unnoticed if possible.
Okay. Roll me a stealth.
Bing, let me use my new dice. Oh shit, I'm in the wrong window. Smoke bombs, yes. 17 total for stealth.
Okay. The DC wasn't particularly high, and you'll find out why now. Those of you who have ridden into the city, you are instantly met with a backlog of a great number of people. This place is swamped. I'll put up the map I should have.
Thank you, baby. The dog just knocked it over. There you are. Okay, now there should be a map any minute, which should have the gates at the bottom. There we are.
Yep.
Okay, so the gate you've just come in is at the bottom, and you've been led into it's like a market section, and it is full of people, and it's not bustling at the market. These people are shouting and throwing things like food and mud and various different things over the heads of the people just off in front of you. You can't quite see at what yet, but you're not going to get much further inside the city, even on horseback. Even you, Vatheritas, on such a massive horse, people don't seem to care. They're too angry and getting the attention of everything on the other side with their backs to you. If you want to press on, you're going to have to leave the horses at the gate.
Give me just a second. Get this up. I'm going to use my thaumaturgy again, which is going to triple the volume of my voice, and then just bellow, clear a path.
Okay, dokie. Is that a cantrip, or do you need to roll anything for that?
It's a cantrip.
Alright. I'm gonna see. You get the attention of, a good number of people. And sort of, they do look around and start to move aside for you, but their fear of you is equally matched by their anger at whoever this is that they're shouting at. And they do, allow you to pass through them, but you also get caught and swept up in the crowd as well. Apricity, what did you roll for your sneak? 17. Okay, yeah, 17. Okay, you are met with the backs of a large crowd full of angry, shouting people. You see your companions manage to make a path and start to head through to the other side of them. And do you want to sort of go through the crowd? Do you want to try and keep up with your party members? What do you want to do?
I'd like to. Are the party members kind of towards their thing? Yeah.
They're heading towards the other side of the crowd. This is a big crowd of people. They're all looking in the same direction. They're all shouting and throwing things in the same direction. And the way the rest of the party is heading on their mounts, they're heading into whatever it is that they're shouting at.
Yeah, I want to kind of skirt around and see if I can see what it is that they're shouting at, but without getting in the way of any of themselves.
Okay. You can sneak round, and as you go through the crowd, and as you guys push your way through the crowd and get in front of them, you notice there's some official-looking guards, like guards of the city, trying to keep the crowds back. But you also notice that there's several guards within the crowd, shouting and throwing things as well, which potentially is why the guard station was unmanned, because those who were up there have either come to join in with this angry mob or have had to leave their posts to come and try and hold this mob back. It's quite a big city, and it almost feels like the entire population is here. There are men, there are women, there are children, all ages. Some look fairly well off, some look less well off, and they're all shouting and throwing things. And as you get to the front of the crowd they're pushing you further into the city and up, you're going through, let me click on the map so I can see it again. You're going through the market square and you're being pushed up and round and along the streets with this crowd that are following. And as you get to the front, you can see, and Apricity, you can see this too as you pick your way through guards and people, women, children. You're quite small, but you can see through the legs and things. You can see soldiers, and you can see people holding the crowds back, and you nearly get hit by a child throwing a tomato. And what you guys see at the front of the crowd is... Here we go. You see a young girl, human, about 17 years old, very fair skin. She is very well dressed. She looks not quite royal, but very wealthy, very well off, just in the gown that she's wearing, the way she has her hair, the way she walks. And she is what the crowd is shouting at. They're throwing things at her, and they are. She's got smears on some pieces of her dress, and she's walking through this food, and she's taking all of this abuse as she walks. She's not shouting back. She's not looking above it. She is almost accepting of her fate, like a hanged man walking to the gallows. A tall, older guard man wearing a full helmet with a big shield and a massive cloak is walking alongside her, and he's attempting to shield her with his shield and his big cloak, but she is pushing him away very gently, but as if to say, and shaking her head as if to say, no, this is my punishment, kind of thing. And he is still attempting to protect her from most of the abuse and the food that's being thrown at her, but she is walking almost deliberately ahead of him, taking it. And you guys are swept along as the crowd is following her and going alongside her. Arissa, you don't recognise her. No.
I'm just going to purposely start riding my horse along the front of the crowd.
Okay, as in so that they don't get a clear shot.
Yep.
Alright.
Because it's the whopping big horse.
Okay.
So even though... So it's like, obviously I wouldn't know her, like, personally, but would I at least roughly know who she is?
You can tell that she's probably the daughter of the Marxist family, which are the leaders of Crownside. From everything you've seen of nobles, she's not royal, but she's almost second best. The royals live in Leyland, and because this is Crownside, second hand to the royals at Leyland, you've got a pretty good guess she's a Marxist. Which also makes her very important, and you're wondering what she could possibly have done that could be getting her all this abuse.
Okay.
In the meantime, do I see any guards near me?
Yeah, you can see a few there. At the moment, they've got their backs to you. They're trying to, like, hold the crowds back and things. There are some guards in the crowd as well. So who would you like to talk to? The people who are shouting or the ones holding them back?
I'm just going to pick the closest one and demand to know what the hell is going on here.
Okay, you pick a man. He's sort of a middle-aged human, currently in a bit of an argument with an older woman who is trying to throw like what looks like half a bucket of breadcrumbs, and she's like fistfuls throwing them. Some of them catch your horse, some of them are thrown under the horse, and some of them are being thrown towards the girl. And he's currently in a sort of just going like, no, put it down, this is not the way, and you sort of call down to him. And this older woman sort of, and he sort of turns his head to you. Huh? Oh, just the usual now. Every day. Why she leaves the castle at all beyond me. If you fancy helping at all, you could just trot alongside. That'd be fantastic. No. And he sort of turns back to the woman who's like throwing things over his shoulder. Would you? No, it's not going to help. Just put it down. Go home. Go home. You're wasting your bread. Would you?
Can
I collar someone near me and ask them what's going on?
Sure. Would you like to talk to a man, a woman, or a child?
I'm going to go for someone similar height to me, so I might go for a child.
Okay. Okay. You see a young girl with ponytails. She looks a little bit... She's not very poor, but she's sort of a little bit like pink in the face. And she's holding on to what looks like maybe an older brother or sister's hand. They're currently pushing their way towards the front of the crowd, sort of shouting and going, "Aah!" And she turns to you and says, huh?
What's going on? Why are we wasting our food throwing it at this woman? What's she done?
You must be new here. Oh, it's so much fun. Anytime she leaves the castle, my brother brings me out and we throw things because she's been silly.
What's she done to be so silly?
She's not going to marry the man who could save us. She's supposed to. My brother says it's her duty and that that's what she's supposed to do. And now that she's not, we could all be for it if war breaks out again. He said it's something about a truce, which makes me think of juice and then I get thirsty.
Can I hand her my water skin and give her a little drink?
Thank you, miss. And she like starts to hiccup because she drinks it down too quickly. Thank you. That was thank you. So kind. Would you like one of our tomatoes to throw at the silly lady?
I'm going to accept a tomato and pretend to throw it, but kind of not actually throw it at the lady at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you know where the man that she's meant to marry is from?
Yes. He's hang on. And she holds her breath and goes really pink in the face for about a minute, and then she breathes out and goes, all right, done. He's from Travis. He's the missing prince. She's supposed to marry him. He's supposed to be great, but she says she doesn't want to. He's supposed to help us in war times, but she said no.
Good for her. I think this marriage thing is a bit silly anyway.
But white dresses and candles and flowers and things.
Do that any day. You don't need a special occasion.
You are so right.
So where are they taking her now? Where's she going?
My brother says that she was silly to even leave in the first place. They're going back to the castle, I expect. He says that she was silly to come to the market. She should just send people to shop for her. He says she's asking for trouble.
Send people to shop for her, did you say?
Yeah. I don't know why she comes to the market when she knows that everyone's going to shout at her. They've been shouting at her for weeks.
Oh, so she's been putting up with this for some time.
Oh, yes. She was supposed to marry him soon, but she keeps saying no. I don't know what the leader, her dad's going to say. He's very cross, my brother says.
Your brother sounds like a very intelligent young man.
Thank you. Oh, tell him you said that. Oh, hang on. There he goes. And he's like pulling her hand now and he's getting really close to the front of the crowd and she sort of like waves and disappears, being pulled along with him.
Cool. I'm gonna have a look around, see if I can get the rest of the party.
Okay. It's not very hard to spot the Theratas. Like, he is on a massive horse, currently speaking to a guard, and you can see they're all sort of like, they've managed to get themselves into the front of this crowd, and they're now walking along, like, almost behind the girl. You can see now, you can see a guard who's got a big helmet on, a big cloak and a shield, and he's desperately trying to cover her as she walks, and he's getting splattered with tomatoes and things as well. And you can see this girl in a very fancy sort of blue and silver dress walking ahead of him.
Cool. What's the rest of the party doing then, walking along the side?
The Theratas is sort of like bang alongside her, and the rest of them are sort of behind. And they're sort of being swept up at this point. They can't really go anywhere else. They're sort of being swept along with the crowd. They're following the woman and they're pushing them. And you actually are getting carried along with them. And they're heading up and they go round and through this market. And they're going up and round to the west of the city. And you can see a big sort of castle up just in the corner of the city. And it seems that they're heading towards that. Like, the girl looks like she's heading homewards and everyone's following her and sort of encouraging her to essentially fuck off.
Fuck off, but with tomatoes.
Yes. All over you.
Cool. I'd like to see if I can kind of squeeze ahead to get to the castle sooner than some of the crowd.
Actually, I might do that.
Okay. Well, you're all going to get swept along at this point. So as you reach the front entrance of the castle,
the doors are going to be opened by some haggard-looking other guards and some servants. And because you're so close and the crowd is still coming and the outside of the castle is getting pelted with food, they're actually going to usher you all in. They open the big double doors. Even for the Shire horse, they don't even sort of bat an eye. They're just sort of like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. And they, like, usher all of you in. And several of the guards who were holding the crowd back sort of give up and sort of take off running after you, and they sort of slam the door shut behind you guys as you all find yourselves in the entrance hall of this big castle.
I'm just going to dismount.
Okay.
And do my best to brush off some of the splatter that's found up on my giant shy horse.
Okay. Okay. The young girl, and you can see now that she doesn't look visibly upset, but you can tell she's more sort of resigned, as if she knew this was going to happen, and she doesn't seem surprised by the reception she had by the people outside. And she walks over, and you can tell she's only about 17, human female, sort of brunette, long sweeping hair, and she ignores everything that's on her own dress, and she walks over to the guard who is protecting her, and she sort of wipes a large chunk of tomato off his helmet next to his eye, and then turns to you, Vitheritas, and says, "Oh, goodness." Say again?
Oh, are you with them?
Oh yes, you're all there at the moment. You've all been swept up. Apricity, did you want to dart?
Eating.
Did you want to dart into the castle as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Then yes, you're all in there. And Arissa, okay. You want to start eating?
No, I want to start casting one of my cantrips, Prestidigitation, because that means I can unsoil areas.
Oh, cool. Okay, and what?
So I just kind of start doing that on her and her guards.
Nice.
Ah, awesome. And are you going to do it to Vitheritas' horse as well, or is he going to have to do it himself?
I'll do it for 30 as well.
Okay. As you cast the cantrip, the young girl, Vitheritas, she walks over to you, and she sort of, "Oh, I am so sorry." She starts to brush with you bits and pieces off your horse, and then Arissa, with a sort of poof, lifts the dirt and debris off of everyone involved, and it all vanishes. And the girl looks around and says, "Oh, thank you. That was most sweet of you. I am so sorry you had to get caught up in all my chaos."
That's no problem. It seems to be quite common across Baursin at the moment.
Oh goodness, is it? Where on earth else have you been that is just as bad as this?
We just came from up north near Stock. So I just read that.
So Arissa is wandering around poking the smears and going poof and making them disappear, which is amusing the guards, who up until this point have looked a bit stony, the ones who slammed the door behind you, and the ones in the palace who look sort of resigned to you coming back. And they're sort of, a few of them are sort of nudging each other, and a few of them are sort of, ha! And you do it to a few of the guards, and they say, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, sorry, Vitheritas, you were monologuing.
Yeah, basically I was just saying that we've just come from up near Stock, and things weren't too good up there and for a little while.
Oh. Well, that is very sad news. I don't suppose you know if it's all been sorted.
Hang on, I missed the last bit there.
I don't suppose you know if it has all been sorted out or not.
Some of it has been, at the very least.
Oh.
We had some monsters that were dealt with.
Oh! Well, that does sound... In comparison. I mean, one mustn't grumble, of course. I have, as they will say, brought this upon myself. My father is most eager to tell me that every morning, and I must say monsters do sound a great deal worse in comparison than, well, a little bit of food throwing every now and then.
What could possibly could anyone have done to have caused such a riot out there?
Well, it is more what I haven't done, or what I am still refusing to do, you see. I'm the oldest, therefore I am meant to do everything my father says, and not even take over and rule Crownside. Oh no, I'm just meant to marry someone who can. And in this instance, my father set up for me to marry young Tiavat Tal. I'm going to spell that for you.
Does that name ring any bells for me?
Is it for me?
Arissa, yes, without even rolling. Roll a history check of Atheritas.
What do I know about?
Oh, right. Yeah, I know nothing.
You know nothing,
Jon Snow knows more than me.
Okay.
That was a 1, not natural.
Arissa, you recognise that name from just the way your parents' lives were. That is the Prince of Travis.
So I just kind of like stand up from poking all of these smiths and goes, Prince Tiavat?
Oh yes, that's the one.
You're betrothed to him.
Yes, well, supposedly. Of course, after the war, things got difficult, and everyone in Baursin was so terrified they wanted to find a easy scapegoat, an easy way out, so I was betrothed to the prince of that nation. So, of course, that makes perfect sense. No war could possibly ever happen if I'm married to him. And that's all they seem to be concerned about, is that as long as I marry him, if a war should break out again against evil, we will somehow have protection, even though, as far as I am aware, Travis is still down to less than half of its population, and they are just roaming savages. So yes, encouraging I am not to marry him. The Tals are said to have evil demon blood within them, and seeing as they survived this great war against evil, I'm not very inclined to marry him. And, I also... The tiefling raises his eyebrow. And of course the, other major concern would be that I am already betrothed to someone else.
Oh my god,
Play his neighbour's theme tune. Dun, 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 dun. And next week on Hollyoaks, we shall find out. Well. What's going on, Reedy, is that you guys are in the castle, and the daughter of the Marxist family, who are the leaders of Crownside. They're essentially next to royalty. She has told you that she is supposed to be marrying the Prince of Travis to sort of have a truce between Baursin and Travis in case another war breaks out. But she said that she doesn't want to because she doesn't like the idea of marrying someone with demon blood in them, and the war doesn't seem to be doing anything, and also that she is betrothed to someone else.
Okay, thank you.
To which Arissa has quite literally just gone, oh my god, who is it? Well, I don't suppose there is any harm in telling complete strangers. You seem nicer than most of the people around here at the moment. My father refuses to acknowledge the match, and seems to have made everyone angrier than ever, of course, but everyone, well... Him, take off your helmet. And that was him. By the way, I'm going to spell the dude's name. Okay. Zone of Truth! You can do Zone of Truth if you fancy.
No, she's already said she's gonna.
Okay. The guard who was protecting her the entire walk, with the big cloak which got covered in mess, takes off his helmet and looks at you all. And she says, "This is my protector and my one true love, him Dixon." And
oh my gosh!
you
I
guys
kind of go over, grab her, put her next to him, and then just kind of do that thing where, you know, like you're pretending to do a film thing with your hands.
Okay.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys are such a cute couple.
Well, you might want to hear a description of the dude before you start saying that.
Oh.
No, Arissa would do that anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, while Arissa's doing that, the rest of you notice that this is a human man, another guard. He is in his mid to late 40s. He has sort of crinkles under his eyes, dark hair flecked with grey, a sort of like stubbly beard, and sort of like he's got armour on, but you can tell he's quite tall, very well built, and a good 35 years older than the 17-year-old girl stood next to him.
Can I try to tell how he feels about her statement of this?
Are you going to ask or just look at his face?
I just got to look at how he reacts.
Okay. He is looking at her the entire time, and he has like this sad look in his eyes, kind of like he looks almost resigned to something.
Oh, Amos, no.
What's he doing? The dogs escaped! The dogs escaped!
No, my character sheets.
No! My everything! It's gone!
Okay. He's gone.
Has he gone downstairs to meet people?
He's gone back downstairs, yeah. Gav came back and took him out for a walk.
Ah,
I thought
okay.
you're supposed to be calm after a walk. Oh god!
No, he's never calm.
No,
Never.
this is my life.
Okay, so what Arissa is running around pretending to take film footage and excitedly bouncing up and down around the couple. Betheritas is like giving a stony gaze to the man and having a look and seeing what he thinks. The rest of you, what are you gonna think and or do in this interesting situation?
Can I approach her and ask if the people know that this gentleman here is the one that she would prefer to marry, or if they just know that she's refused to marry the Prince of Treviso?
Well, my father does not he does not acknowledge our engagement. He refuses to accept it and says it is a ridiculous notion, and the only reason he has not had him fired and thrown out is that he has been assigned to guard me since my birth, and my mother has said that it must be a ridiculous infatuation and it will soon pass, and that they need him as he is one of the only guards left who has not turned on us.
Why have the other guards turned?
Because they also believe, perhaps rightly, that I ought to marry this prince in order to save Baursin. Of course, the princess should be doing it herself, but no, she would never be asked to do that. She's far too busy. And for the first time, him, the 40-something-year-old guard, speaks, and he says, "Too busy, off her face on drugs from what I hear. Those are the rumours from the guards in the capital. She's out partying, getting wasted, not doing her royal duty, leaving it down to you to get pushed around pillar to post and told what you have to do. It's all right. It's all right, my darling. But yes, I must admit those are the rumours we hear. The princess is far too busy living on another plane of existence in her head to bother doing her royal duty. And so I, of course, bear the brunt of it.
I look between the two and basically, probably knowing well enough exactly what happened in Treves a couple of years back, ask just what kind of protection has this alliance supposedly offered from Treves?
Well, my father is never too clear on the specifics, but from what he's told me, the country would be granted some sort of immunity if the majority of the country of Treves were to turn or evil were to overthrow them in some way. I believe it has something to do with the Tell family's connection to the demons through their blood. Something about how they would supposedly be able to talk their way out of harming us, and we would not have to send too much of our own armies to go and fight, and if we couldn't send anyone at all, we would not be penalised for it. And then I got bored of listening and threw a spoon at his head.
If I was frowning before, I'm probably looking like I'm fit to kill.
The Theratas has not had a good day.
Also not impressed with exactly what this sounds like from Treves' point of view.
Yeah.
Arissa, basically the princess, has said that her father told her that she has to marry the prince. She thinks that the princess of Baursin should do it, but has heard that she is too busy getting drugged up and partying to do her royal duty, and so feels it has fallen to her instead, and that she is being pushed from pillar to post and basically used for this treaty between the countries. And she threw a spoon at her father's head in exasperation when he told her about it, apparently.
Nice. I approve. And so does Arissa.
Princess, we've been quite rude. We're new to this town today. What was your name?
Oh, well, first of all, I am not a princess. Feels like I'm doing the duty of one, but no. My name is Emily Marxus. I will spell that for you.
Delightful. Cool.
So she's Emily Marxus. The guy who has guarded her since birth is Him Dukeson, and her father would be Carl Marxus, but only Arissa would know that at this point, so that's sort of irrelevant at this point. But yeah, Hannah. So I'm Emily Marxus, and no, I'm not a princess. It feels as though I'm doing the duty of one, but no, I have no crown or anything, so I just bear the brunt of other things instead. But 'tis my doing, 'tis my decision. I'm not changing my mind. Father still thinks I should and will. He's already arranged the wedding. We are supposed to be wed in a few days' time. But
I presume that means that the groom's actually here?
No, the groom is en route, as far as we are aware. I cannot help wishing that something would happen en route to disrupt his journey. I have not ever met him, of course, so I could not wish ill of someone I have never met, but perhaps just a change of heart or a beautiful wastrel somewhere down the way. Something like that would be marvellous.
You mentioned demon blood. Is
Oh,
there
yes.
something Oh, is this something that we would know about? If I've kind of travelled around Baursin a lot.
It's more Travis. You probably have vaguely heard that the royal family of Travis, the Tals, are said to have demon blood, but that's about as far as it would have gone. Orissa, you would have known this as a fact. You'd have always been taught this as a fact. The Tal family are essentially... in Travis, the way all of you know it is that it's full of travellers and wandering groups. It was never really like, they never had castles and settlements, especially after the war. But all you guys knew was that they essentially elected leaders and called them royalty for the sake of a name. And the Tal family was chosen for whatever reason, and they are said to have demon blood, and that they are said to be very powerful and are essentially travellers who travel around, and... that's as much as you knew about it. Orissa, you never met a Tal. You just heard of them.
Yeah.
Cool. Emily, what's your plan for the wedding day then?
Well... and she leans in very quietly and says to you, perhaps you would like to come and speak privately in my quarters. And then raises her voice and says, of course, this would all go better with some cups of tea. And she looks over at one of the servants who, and this surprises you, the servant literally rolls her eyes, ugh, and walks away to go and get some tea. And we'll take it in my rooms, thank you. Ugh. And Emily just takes this as if it doesn't matter, whatever, and leads you up a grand flight of stairs to go towards her chambers.
Cool. I'll follow behind her, very excited to go exploring in a castle that's not full of demons from...
I'll glance around for like the nearest squire or someone who can look after the horse and gesture towards all our mounts before.
Okay. People don't seem to be particularly perturbed with you guys. So your horses are led to a stable in a courtyard and given some oats and looked after by people.
Yep. Once I'm certain that they're not going to go missing, I follow on up.
Alright. So you all going to follow on up the stairs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Orissa, you would have no idea. Maybe think evil thoughts and see if something happens, I don't know.
This is great fun because the Wi-Fi seems to have gone down. So this might kill my phone's internet data.
Uh-oh, well if you disappear, we will know what happened to you.
No, I shouldn't disappear. I'll just have to pay more.
Oh no! But it's D&D, it'll be totally worth it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys head on up and you go along a corridor, you go past a fancy banqueting hall, and you can hear an older man's voice, and you can hear a woman sort of trying to calm him down, and you can tell this is probably Karl Marxus, the head of the family, the leader of Crownside, and you can hear someone sort of banging their fist on a table, and you can hear plates and things like being jangles, and you can hear every time it's the same. We're getting worse. We're losing more and more guards to that mob every day. I know. I will speak to her again. You will speak to her. I will speak to her. The gods could speak to her. Nothing, and no one. And you carry on past this door. Sorry you had to hear that. I have grown used to it. Just background noise to me now. Here we are. And she pushes open a set of double doors, and you're in a sort of much smaller and very nicely decorated room, and it has a little sort of tea table and a lot of armchairs and a fire. The fire is not lit at the moment, and she bends to light it herself. But then, bringing up the rear and closing the door behind you, comes him, the guard, and he actually takes the matches out of her hand and says, "No, let me." And he lights the fire for her and pulls a chair so she can sit down in it. And she sort of brushes the hair out of his face and flicks it behind his ear, and he sort of looks at her sadly and then goes and stands beside the fire with one hand on his sword. And you guys are all, she said, "Oh, do sit. Hopefully some tea, hopefully warm, shall be with us soon. Please, anywhere, take a seat." The Theratas has very, very, very red eyes. He's very cross. I don't know if it's because he doesn't like what he's seeing or if it's because he wants someone to flick his hair out of his face too. Barak, get on it. Barak, sit next to the door.
Yeah, still with one hand on my quiver.
Alrighty, one hand on the quiver.
I'm gonna look for the plushest looking chair and park myself on it.
Awesome. It is so plush that you almost sink into it, and your feet, just sit off the edge of the seat, so you're sitting completely back, and your feet do not touch the floor, not even close.
I love it. I'm gonna squiggle in and get nice and comfy, because I want to hear all about it.
Alrighty. Okay. Woohoo! Wi-Fi! So Varric is sitting next to the door. Prisity has taken the comfiest, squiffliest chair. So Redo and Vitheritas and Arissa, what would you like to sit on? What would you like to do?
I'll put both my warhammer and my shield crossed up against chairs, but stand sort of loosely at attention.
Okay. So are you standing as opposed to sitting?
Yeah, standing, but next to one of the chairs.
Alright, you stand next to a chair, and your hammer and things are sort of leaning up against it.
I will just sit down on whichever chair is furthest from the fire.
Okay, that will actually be the chair that is on the right-hand side of Emily. So you plonk yourself down in that. She seems to have deliberately placed herself away from the fire so that you guys can sit nearer to it if you like. Although she's in the chair closest, so she is next to him, the guard, who stands by the fire, not keeping warm. He's sort of stood as close as he can to her seat. Arissa, you're on the other side. Apricity, you're sort of directly opposite. Vitheritas again, other side of the fire, opposite. Varric nearer the door. And Redo, you can then sit in a chair that's near Arissa and Varric.
Perfect, thank you.
Alrighty. Your chair is very comfortable, has very high arms, lovely upholstery, very squishy. You sort of can sit in it like, this is the most comfy you have been in a while.
Is it purple?
You also notice that nothing in this room is purple. It's all blues and reds and it's sort of like the dark royal blue of Baursin. It's very rich, lots of blue.
This is my new favorite place.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like it. I've always preferred this to every other room in the castle. It is nice, quiet, and homely, and... Oh! Master Tiefling, your eyes appear to have changed colour once again.
They tend to do that from time to time.
You know, I have been told by my scholars that the eyes are the window to the soul. So, what does green say about your soul?
I wouldn't be entirely certain, to be honest. It seems to be the most common colour that they tend to turn.
Oh! Well, I wonder what the red said that they were before. Is it good that they are green then?
For the moment.
Well, I only hope that you can take some pleasure in our company. Of course, it is nice to see you. You have not thrown anything at me yet.
And I do not intend to, lady.
Thank you very much. You're too kind. So, tell me, all of you, if you do not mind me saying, you are a sort of a motley crew, arrangement of different races and peoples. What brings you to our usually fine city? Yes, Varric, you can restore the bear trap. You want to sit ominously in the corner of this poor girl's room and just assemble a bear
A really
trap.
nice posh bedroom.
Like, not a problem.
No moment like the present, right?
I love it.
Also, I want to shoulder mount it. Like when it's done, I want to mount it on my shoulder.
All right. In which case, could you please make me a?
Good luck figuring out what to roll.
Well, I'm sort of torn between survival and just a straight intelligence, because in a way it's survival because it's a survival tool. So I feel like I'm going to say roll survival because you would use it to make different things. So I'm going to go with that, and our millions of fans on the internet can shout at me later.
Hey,
I'm very thankful for survival because that means I get 4 more points to my modifier. And that means that I rolled 18.
Okay. It will take you the best part of like 15-20 minutes while everyone's having a conversation. You can still talk as well, but you manage to work out where all the different bits go, and you sort of screw things in, and sort of every now and then the rest of you can sort of hear a clamp, and then a sort of coming from the corner. And so, while you're doing that, the rest of you may have a conversation. So, she's asked what brings you here. So, go crazy.
I'm gonna kind of roll my eyes a little bit at Varric, and sorry about him. He's dedicated to his bear traps.
Oh, I see. Well, they must do a great amount of damage for them to be so precious.
They've fared him well in the past. They've not fared others' faces so well.
Others' faces? Goodness me. I do so long to hear of your adventures. Oh! And the door opens and you can smell a sort of strong tea wafting through the room. Thank you so much. You can just set it down. Oh. And the tea has been set down on a side table with some books on it, like shoving the books to the floor, and they've sort of fallen open. The furthest away from all of you is just like in the very corner of the room, and the lady has like stomped out and sort of like slammed the door behind her without even like curtsying or anything.
I go over to the door, I open it and say, "You're very rude!" Close the door, grab the tea and bring it over.
Oh, thank you. And Emily is going to help you put it onto a little table that's in the middle of you all. And she starts to pour the tea. And she offers each of you a cup. And there's like lumps of sugar and there's milk and cream and things that you can all add into it if you like. And the tea is hot and it's very weak. Like, they've deliberately made it not very strong. And if you add a lot of sugar or milk or cream to it, it's okay. But you can tell it's been deliberately made weak and just as another sort of form of spite against this girl.
Okay, I'm going to counter it prestidigitation to make it taste better.
Ah.
I love that as a use for that spell.
I can change taste on like food and stuff, so I'm just like, this tea is terrible. Boop. There we go.
I'm just gonna glance at Arisa after she does that, and I've tasted my tea the second time and go, "Can you do that on alcohol?"
There's a special place in hell for people that don't make fucking good tea.
The answer is yes, I can do an alcohol. How do you think I drink everything?
Perhaps some rank wine or mead or something from Walden Castle right back when we started. You could have fixed
Sorry, what was that? I can fix the taste. And only for an hour.
It won't take me that long to drink it, sorry.
But yes, I can fix the taste.
Emily smiles at this and says, well, we better finish the whole pot before the hour is up then. And she pours you all another cup and sort of smiles and sips her own and is pleasantly surprised that it tastes nicer.
What do you want me to do? Just taste.
Sorry, I assume that you cast the thing just on your own cup, so I was hoping you would do the same for me. But I didn't think you would.
I change it to a whiskey taste.
That's good with me.
Your tea burns more than hot tea should, but it's fairly tasty, if a little alcoholic.
Emily, I'm assuming that your entire staff are upset with you by the behaviour of your maid there.
Most of them. And at this point, him sort of coughs in the corner. The whole damn castle. Well, not entirely. We have, occasional maids who perhaps see my point of view, but still believe I should act against it. And you cannot blame them, my love, for they believe it is their lives, their families' lives that are at stake. And I must admit, whenever I go down that dark path of thinking, I end up finding myself thinking perhaps I should agree with father. But then I just don't think it would make a great deal of difference, in all honesty. And I feel it is perhaps some fear-mongering amongst the people to get them to despise me. I know for a fact that my father was not quiet about his intentions and was even louder when he scoffed at my desires and wished to abstain from his organised marriage. He was not quiet about telling everyone in town about it, and so the word spread, and, well, here we are.
Where I'm from, we don't have this sort of thing. We don't believe in marriage and belonging to just one person. We belong to many people and we have many loves. So I find this...
A dick for you.
I find this a strange concept. Is there no other way for your two countries to come together and form a truce?
I chuckle at the word countries and referring to Travis a bit.
Yeah, alright.
Just what's left of one.
I believe that is what is causing the sore point. You see, they may be the remnants of a country, but all that remain must be the most powerful. And I believe most of the people in this country are afraid of that, afraid of the unknown. It goes along with their fear of magic and those who wield it. Not everywhere is quite so persistent as our capital about it. For example, some of my father's advisors are magic users, but they tend not to use it around the public. It tends to scare and frighten. And yet they would happily have you wedded to someone they know can commit acts of evil. Yes, my darling, I know, but it is their way to believe what is convenient, and they believe it is right. Cannot blame them for that. They want to protect their lives, their families. I've heard enough of them protecting their lives and their families. They think they are protecting themselves by making you live a life like some pitiful worm to be sold and bartered across countries like some nothing. I know, my love, I know. And she offers him a cup of tea, but he says no and sort of gestures her hand back. And so she puts it back down and turns to the rest of you. I only mention this because you are so new and so nice, and, well, at this point we are entirely out of options.
You are new here. Do you intend to stay here very long?
I'm just going to glance around at the others.
As long as needed.
Perhaps I would give you time to mull it over, of course, but perhaps, I mean, we can think of no other way. We have tried to leave many a time, especially in the last few days, but we are always spotted, we are always found, we are always brought back. I wonder perhaps if there was any possible way you could see to take us with you, perhaps somehow in any way aid our escape from this terrible nightmare of a city. We would be eternally grateful. I would pay you everything I could possibly grab from my father's supplies. I would offer you anything I possibly could if you would help us to leave. Whenever you are, however long you wish to remain in the city, just when you leave it, if you would possibly take us with you.
I'm going to glance at everybody else looking a bit dubious.
Perhaps I shall go and see if I can find us some biscuits to go with this tea. Him, would you like to come with me for a moment? I feel like we have put them in a rather awkward position by asking such a favour of such new people who only want to make a good impression. We shall give you a moment alone to discuss. Come on, my love. And she very nicely takes them out of another door, which you think probably leads to her bed chambers and a bathroom of some sort, and she shuts the door, and you can hear them sort of speak. You hear him say something on the lines of, do not expect too much. They are new to the city. I know, but it is our possibly last chance. It is only right to ask it. And then they sort of walk away and leave you guys to talk amongst yourselves. So, talk amongst yourselves.
Oh my god, this is drama. I love it. I'm cautious of storming into a new town and meddling in places where we're not necessarily safe to meddle. But also I quite like the sound of money, because, yeah, I like shiny things.
DM, how honest was she sounding to me?
Do you want to roll a belated insight check?
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
if that's allowed. Thank God that gets buffed. That would be a 10. Hold on, a lucky 7.
Yeah.
Okay. She seemed to be honest from a combination of how everyone around her was behaving and from the way that she and him shared looks and how she appeared around him. She seems truthful enough. You couldn't say for definite, but she seemed truthful.
Alrighty. I'm just gonna glance across at Apricity and go, I'm not exactly gonna start charging out for help like this. But we also did come here for a purpose. But if we can find the shard that we're here for, I have no qualms whatsoever with having additional people come with us.
If this the next few days, like she said, then maybe we could set out and try and acquire a card or some sort of information. If we happen to do it before the wedding, then maybe assist these poor lovers.
Well, quite frankly, I don't imagine that the people here are going to get any actual benefit from the wedding in the end anyway.
That was great.
Mood killer, Rob. NPCs, what can you do with them? Honestly. Terrible. And right in the middle of his important speech. Go sit in the corner and think about what you've done, honestly.
I have to admit, I feel a lot better now.
Ugh, terrible. So, sorry, Vitheritas, you were saying.
Basically, all I was saying was that I don't exactly can offer the protection that the people around here believe that they can.
Yes, I'm not sold on the idea of a wedding completely f***ing of battling areas.
To be fair, we have a long trip ahead of us, quite dangerous. Is it a smart idea to take along? Like I assume that since he's a guard, he might be trained and like proficient in combat. But is it a good idea to drag her along on whatever this journey will bring us?
We could help them escape and then send them on their own way. They don't have to come with us, do they?
Yeah, true.
She did just say, take us with you to get out. She wasn't very clear on whether she wanted to accompany you entirely.
Yeah, so if we get her out of the city, it's good enough.
Hey?
Quite frankly, considering how safe and unsafe most of Baursin is, I think any place is as good as any other right now.
Fair. And we might be able to profit from her title, riches, those kinds of things in acquiring resources for the trip.
We might also put a massive bullseye on our party by having her on our trip.
Oh,
like,
guys!
I go like this
I have
and point.
disguise kits and costumes. Oh my god, we could dress her up as a normal person. It'd be so fun.
Makeover time!
Makeover time!
Can we have a step over and do like a makeover montage?
Yes!
A super training montage.
You got it.
Guys,
But yes, I'm saying this with the goggles on.
Yes, we do.
Okay, what was your perception, Arissa?
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh shit, you did, sorry. Okay. Out of the window, you can see a sort of cloud of dust smooshing in the air, and you can see it sort of above the market stalls, and you can see little bits like floofing around the town, the city, but you can see a lot around the market.
Okay.
okay, so this is why I wanted to know where the thing is, because it looked like it's still in the city. So I say we leave the princess for now, because if we try to take her out of the city, we're gonna get all the mob on our backs. So we find the shard first. If we can find it before the wedding, then we take her with us and we leave the city. If not, then fuck her, she's getting married.
Wow. Elf, you don't mince your words, do you?
I do think she has a point there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm ashamed to say that I'm in agreement with you, I think.
And considering the show we pulled off at the school in Stock, I think we're able to cause enough of a distraction to get them out of the city.
Distraction? Did somebody say distraction?
How about you give the biggest rock show you have ever given? We'll shake the entire city.
Guys, they're into taking her clothes off.
If necessary.
Or it's too hot.
That could make our plans more difficult. Just gonna put it out there. Varric says, blushing in the corner.
Is it worth asking this Emily about the shard in kind of a roundabout way?
We can ask her if there's any places that special that they hide special artifacts.
Yeah.
And well, that way we might get some intel on where to find it or any other magical gear which might help us.
DM, what time
Yes.
of day is it?
It is coming up to late evening, so around 6 o'clock-ish, 5:30.
How much longer will the market be open?
You're not sure.
Is it worth, guys, running over to the market and having a look at this dust and then deciding what to do with this princess that's not a princess?
Well, quite frankly, we've been travelling for quite a while. Had a bit of a
we
rough
did
and tumble
sleep.
fight on the way.
We did have a night's
Oh, actually,
rest.
true. We did have a decent rest.
Well, you guys didn't.
I was going to say,
Oh, actually, yeah.
Ridu
No.
and me had a drunk
You guys had a rest.
night's rest.
you guys got drunk and passed out by the campfire. We've been fighting zombies up in the air.
Sounds about right. Air zombies.
And that's why you don't leave the campfire.
What are you suggesting, Verti? Do you want to ask for a nice bubble bath and a night?
Ooh, I would absolutely love to off.
At that point, the door opens and Emily and him walk in, and she is saying to him, "Well, it does no harm, does it?" "Oh, did someone say bath?"
Gingerly raise my hand and smile, open, offer me an
I raise my hand excitedly and be like, "Yes, I did."
Of course, of course. I will happily have you here. You may stay. I have several rooms in my quarters. You can take them for the night. I have decided, well, we have decided, she looks at him, who sort of hugs her waist briefly for a second and takes a breath of her hair and closes his eyes and then sort of lets her go, and he sort of nods. We have decided that perhaps springing this upon you as a suggestion is a little abrupt, so happily stay in my quarters. There are baths in every room. Please take your rest. I will ask for food to be brought. I cannot guarantee its quality, but seeing as it's not for me, you should be all right. Perhaps we will reconvene tomorrow. Raise yourselves, have breakfast, go about your day. I know you are here for a reason, so go about your business and perhaps meet me in the afternoon tomorrow, and maybe we can speak about it then."
Yeah, Varric would probably be straightforward. Quick question about the city. Well, we came here with a purpose, and well, I was wondering, is there? We heard rumors that important artifacts may be in this city. Do you know of a place where such a thing would be stored?
Well, if it hasn't been brought up by my father or of any of his rich and wealthy buddies, then they would be on exhibit in the museum or for sale in the more expensive side of the market. You probably didn't see much of it as you came through. There was probably too many angry crowds and things in the way, but I promise if you leave this castle without me accompanying you, you'll get to see a lot more of the city and a lot less of the angry mob.
I pull out the map that I had of the leader's house back in stock, and I turn it around so that the blank canvas is available. Would you mind drawing out a small map for me?
Oh, I can do one better. And she goes to one of her bookshelves and she pulls out an old book and leafs through it. Here. And she shows you a page and puts your parchment on top, and she traces out for you a map of the city. And she even like puts a cross and marks things like the castle's obvious, but she marks the market and the museum where things are exhibited.
Awesome, thank you.
It is my pleasure. You have done quite a lot for me today. You have, well, been an extra barricade, as it were.
Well, it's extremely gracious of you to offer us to stay. Thank you. We'll let you know our thinking. We might need to plan a bit more before we can agree to helping you out, I think.
That is not a problem, and of course we understand whatever decision you take. We just appreciate that at this point we're asking anyone we believe could help, because we're running out of options and of time.
You mentioned that the wedding was in the next few days. How far away exactly is it planned?
Well, unless Father has changed his mind and brought it closer, then it is in 4 days' time.
And there's no way to postpone it in any way?
Well, it has already been postponed once, only because Father was so livid that he did not want to invite the royals down from Travis to see him like that, so he postponed it for a couple of weeks, and this is the final date.
I raise an eyebrow slightly and sort of look at a Priscilla. It's like, are you thinking of sabotaging it slightly?
I wondered if...
Slightly.
Have you said this out loud, by the way?
You know, if everybody suddenly came down with some sort of sickness, or maybe the weather got terrible, or... I'm sure we could work something.
Also, just to interrupt and say hello to Silent Identity in the chat. That's an excellent name. That's an absolutely excellent name. Hello! I don't know how long ago you posted, because I am very bad at keeping an eye on the chat. If you're still about, post a hello and just say hi. And if you fancy joining to do talking, we have a lot of NPC roles up for grabs if you fancy it. Message on the Facebook group Blunders Bothwellians. And there should be links all over the page. If not, I'll put one up at the end. And yes, potentially something like that can happen for you. So yeah, if you're still listening, chuck a hello in, and if you listen to this back at any point, by all means, chuck a message to the group and we can work out you joining, etc, etc, as an NPC if you fancy it. So, did you two say any of this out loud, or is this just an out-of-character conversation?
I might have muttered it to Vitheritas a little bit, yes.
Okay, so potentially Emily has overheard the word sabotage.
Yeah, I wanted her to.
Okay, she is going to look at you sort of quizzically. Him is sort of brushing his fingers through her hair and sort of looking at her sort of intensely, quietly, and she says, of course, I would not ask anything of you in that regard. Of course, I would be grateful beyond words. Help us escape or help us to sabotage it. Either one would be marvellous, but... So she says, but it grows late. I I shall send word to the kitchens to send some food for you. Yes, it is time to unplan the wedding.
Bardic Mischief activate. I'm
Uh,
actually going to write that.
I will just, if you'd like to follow me, I will show you to your chambers, and then you're more than welcome to remain in my study as long as you like. The fire is still lit. I can have the food brought in there, and you can eat before you go to bed. Come through. I will just show you where the bedrooms are, and I have had a long day. I would like to retire to my own chambers. But come, I shall show you to yours. And she motions to the door that she went through earlier. And Jal want to follow at this point?
Yep.
Can I take a quick glance out of the window to see how high up?
Yeah? You're only on the second floor.
And that, like, compared to the full size of the building, that's halfway, or like?
Just over halfway. Like, you get the impression, because the building had like a walkway around the top where people could like be soldiers and guard and look over the top and stuff. It wasn't massive. It was probably just a little bigger than the Walden Castle and a lot better kept. But yeah, so you've gone up a very long winding staircase to the middle floor, and then you go through a series of corridors and things, and she shows you to a corridor full of rooms. Each of them has a large double bed, an ensuite bathroom with a large bath in it, and there are enough rooms for all of you, with some to spare. And her room is at the far end of the corridor, down the far end.
Okay, I'll take one of the, like, farthest into the, or closest into the hallway, like at the beginning of the hallway.
Alright, so furthest away from her room then.
Mostly, yeah, I think that, furthest away from her makes sense for.
Okay.
I do want to make sure that my room has a window.
Okay, yes, they all have very large, fancy windows.
Does the window open easily?
Yes, they do.
Okay, perfect. I'll like open my window and take a look out to see if there's any easy roof access.
There is actually. There'd be like spindly little roofs that go down as part of the castle's maintenance. So you could probably get down onto the next section of roof and then climb down through the walls and the windows and things.
Perfect.
But Theratas, as soon as he goes in, tossing the weapons at the bed and starts trying to get out of his armor and did not shut the door. Arissa walks past and immediately takes the room next door. Okay, right, I'm gonna go there too. I'll send you all a picture of this, not very important. Okay.
Oh, Jesus, Ames.
Okay. Mina, Emily. Okay, so Apricity, you're there. Redo, where would you like to be in the scheme of people? You can be near Emily and Apricity. You can be near Varric down the far end. You can be near Theratas and Arissa. Where would you like to be?
Can I be near Varric, please?
Yep, I will give you that room. Okay, so essentially what you've got is you've got a corridor which has 8 spare rooms in it. So the first one's gone to Varric, the second one to Redo, then there's an empty one, then Arissa, then Vatheratas, then 2 empty ones, then Apricity right next to Emily's room.
Cool.
Alrighty then. Okay. Arissa is now laughing at Vatheratas.
Considering both my arms have been chomped on. Oh, well, one's been burnt and the other one chomped on.
Do you want some help?
I won't say no. This stuff is a pain in the ass to get out.
Larissa goes past, laughs at you, waits a couple of minutes, peeks back in, sees you still struggling, and goes, "Would you like some help?"
That's going in the notes.
Can I in the meantime take a look at the roof? Like, climb up and actually try to stealth my way up to the roof. Take a look.
As in going up to the very top.
Yeah. As high as I can. Like, as high as I safely can. Because I'm not yet in the predicament where I need to put myself at risk.
Okay.
Yet.
Yes. Can you roll me an athletics to climb up?
Which one?
Athletics.
Okay. That's 18 total.
Okay, with 18 you can climb up and you can get right up over the windows and you can climb onto the sort of like parapets and battlements. Right at the top of the castle you can now see out over the city and you can see the roofs of all the castle.
Awesome. I'll like make sure to remember that out that I took and, you know, just check my surroundings.
Okay, yep, you can
And
make a mental
make
note. Yep.
And make mental notes of where the guards are. Well, the ways where guards can walk.
Okay, you see one guard on the other side looking out over the front of the castle, but you don't see any others. There's a walkway that literally just goes in like a square all the way round, and the guard seems to be standing by the door down. There's like one door that leads down into a tower. So
Okay. I'll just write down that Varric actually remembers where the guards are.
okay.
Is Emily still in the corridor?
Yes, she's just finished showing you to your room, Apricity, because you'll be the last person.
Cool.
So she sort of stood and she points and set to a sort of white carved oak door and sort of, and this is my chambers. Should you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Or knock, of course. I would like a bath very much, but other than that, I shall probably be awake for a little while.
Yes, I think that sounds like a very good idea. I will also be jumping into a deep hot bath. I want you to know that we want to help you, and I'm going to press a little wooden carved flower into the palm of her hand.
Aww.
I feel for your predicament. It shouldn't be like this. I promise you that we'll try if we can.
Oh. And she looks at the flower and sort of holds it tight in her hand. And says, "Thank you. I have not been shown such kindness in a long time. Thank you. Indistinguishably, thank you. Thank you." And she sort of touches your cheek very softly with her hand and sort of nods, and then turns to head into her chambers, and him stands and takes guard over the door.
Cool. I'm going to call goodnight down the corridor. I've got no idea what's going on with clanking armour and Arissa giggling coming up one. And I'm going to go and run my bath.
Okay. The rest of you, except Varric, you hear "good night" being shouted at you. Except Varric. You all hear "good night" being shouted at you down the corridor.
Good night.
A very muffled good night from inside my armor.
You hear a
Which is like halfway over your head.
from the tiefling, a very enthusiastic good night from Marissa, and Redo, are you going to shout good night too?
Silent. His room.
Redo's just like, no. Yes, and Warman can fly in and rest on. Actually, there's a coat stand that is perfect, just Warman sort of height, and perches, and eventually food is brought to you all. While you're bathing and things like that, you get brought food, and it's fairly decent quality food, as Emily suggested, because you aren't actually her. You have been brought fairly decent quality food. Varric, your hangry ears hear the sounds of Arissa going ooh, and you also hear the sound of a food tray being placed down in your room, and you smell a waft out of the window. It smells like pie. And yes,
I rush down.
Verti is unarmoured and has bathed. If you would like to bath Arissa or Veritas, you may, together or separately. Character decision.
I like how there's silences.
Well, to be fair, the last thing I heard was Arissa go, so that could go either way.
I'll leave it up to the angry tiefling then. Do you want to bathe alone?
He is going to be quite the gentleman, so he's going to thank her and sort of bow to her. He's still going to have his, trousers on of all things. So.
That's okay then. Arissa, you are bowed to, and you can hear someone bringing food to your own room.
Ooh, a bow. How fancy.
I do have manners when needed.
It's like, I just helped you out of your armor. You don't need to bow. But I'll take it. And I kind of skip off back to my room. Do I have my own bath?
DM, do I notice when and if the servants drop food out the front of the young lady's room?
You mean Emily's room?
Yep.
You do. It takes the time for them to drop food off to you, for you to have a bath, for you to get out of the bath, and to be toweling yourself dry, and then you hear some footsteps down the corridor and a sort of hasty knock on the door, and before the door is even opened, you hear a food tray being put down on the floor, and you hear someone saying, "Shouldn't you be in there with her?" And then someone stalks off down the corridor again.
Can I poke my head out, point my finger and go boop, and cast prestidigitation to make sure her food tastes good?
Aww. Yes, you may. Actually, as you open the door, you see the servant who brought the food disappearing out of the other door, the end of the corridor. And you see Emily.
I look her dead in the eye.
Oh, she's got her back to you at the moment.
I will stare at her and yell it, boop! Get down.
Okay, the servant turns around, jumps in surprise at the sound of this boop! And turns around, looks at you, and sees you, angrily staring at her with your finger pointing at the food. And it now sort of looks brighter and nicer, and she's sort of doesn't quite know what you've necessarily done.
I kind of do the thing where I point at my eyes and then I point at her. So I've got my eyes on you.
Yes.
Yes, you may. She sort of stares at you and backs out of the corridor and shuts the door behind her. Varric, roll for athletics to climb down. Do it with disadvantage if you're hurrying. And then Arissa, you see that Emily has opened her door, and she sees you turn and sees you pointing at her food and sees that it looks a lot nicer than it usually is, and sort of smiles and says, "Oh, you are the sweetest girl I have ever met. With the exception of your gnome friend."
Aw, that's so cute.
I'm
Enjoy your food, and I go back into.
having actually thrown some clothes on. I'm actually going to open my door with my tray, my tray and offer it and go, "I'm at least used to more pedestrian fare if you'd like something a little nicer."
Okay. Say again?
Oh, him? Me or Christy?
Abricity.
Yep.
I was just saying, we're all so nice to this girl. It's really sweet.
Definitely the
We're
Tuesday
also
party.
nice, she says.
Yeah, if this was Sunday, she would be on fire.
Yeah. Everything will be on fire.
Several bombs.
Could always be more on fire. Blah blah blah. Okay. So
In the meantime, I don't
several things happen now. Arissa closes her door and goes inside to her room. The Theratas, you open your door, having eaten some of your food and heard all of this happen. You offer Emily some of your
Just heard
food.
angry boot.
You knew what that angry boot meant, and she says, "I thank you. You are most kind, Servant. Your bard friend has in fact made my meal most delicious for me. If you are determined to be rid of it, I am sure. Him, my darling, would you care for some food?" He still sort of stood guarding outside the door.
I'll turn and offer it to him. So
He
if they haven't even bothered to offer food for yourself.
Oh no. Why on earth would they? Thank you. And he takes like the smallest thing on the plate, which I think would probably be like some of the bread. He just sort of takes one thing and sort of nods. And he's a military man. You get the impression he would not take more for himself than he wanted. And he's made very carefully sure that he has less than the girl does. He's made sure that her plate is full and that she's going to eat well before he takes anything for himself as well.
Yep.
And at this point, you guys hear a what, and a smashing sound coming from Varric's room. And Varric, you managed to climb on down, but you, in your hurry, spotting your window and smelling the smells of food and pie coming out of it, you lost your footing, and instead of climbing into the window that was open, you smashed your way, feet first, in through the window that was closed. You'd only opened one of them to climb out through, the other one was shut, and you smashed your way through the panes of glass, which now stand all over the room, and you landed on your butt, and you take 2 points of, let's call it slamming damage. And you're now sort of sitting with a very sore arse, but you can see a tray of food in the middle of your room. The rest of you have heard this sort of doof doof doof, smash, doof doof. Oh.
I just roll my eyes slightly and go, "Oh, you can't live that with them or without them."
This is my food.
Emily laughs and says, "Oh, are you certain that he is all right?"
There'd be more screams if he wasn't.
Oh, well, then I bid you good night and many thanks.
Sorry, that was my cats fighting.
That's okay. Nothing can make more noise than Varric right now.
I'll give a polite bow and then head off back towards my room.
Okay.
And top up my food with rations.
As you shut your door, you see Emily take a quick glance down the corridor and stand up on her tiptoes, and she pulls him's face down and she kisses him. And he sort of like holds her to him very tightly and kisses her forehead, and then gestures for her to go back inside, and she takes her food and goes into her room, but she deliberately makes him take her little, it's almost like a Bakewell tart that was on her tray, and she hands it to him and will not let him give it back. And she goes inside and shuts the door. And then you go inside and shut your door, and you can hear through the walls down the corridor, you can hear Varric looking and going, "Ooh!" You have got a plate of potatoes, vegetables, pie, like a big pudding cup, and like a little tart as well, and a big like tankard of like juice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I open my door so that I can keep an eye on the. And then I.
Okay. In which case,
Enjoy
very
my food.
clearly, you all hear an ooh, and you hear the noises of a hangry elf. You guys are so used to this by now. You hear jump, 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 jump. It's like listening to Scooby Doo.
I like her. That's exactly what I envisioned as well.
Okay, so I'm being very aware of the time. I'm gonna probably say I really want Redu to be back from not being here, but I'm also very aware that it's quite late for everybody. So I will say for the wrap up that I'm going to leave it here, and when we pick back up again, you guys will, unless anyone decides to stay awake, in which case they can tell me next week, well, not next week, the week after. What we'll do is we'll say that you will awaken in the morning. Yay! Just in time. That's okay. So you've all had food and a bath and you're in your rooms hanging out, and we're gonna wake you up next time for the next episode. You're gonna wake up in the morning. And would you all like your XP now? Because I have a feeling you'll have leveled up and you can have 2 weeks to plan it.
Yeah, let's do that!
Okay, in which case I will stop the recording now and say bye to everybody, and then I will sort out your XP. So thank you all our millions and millions of fans. Tatty bear, everybody. Bye!